Alright, I'm streaming. Now what do I do?
Hold on a second.
Brotherhood Forever is live.
Hang on a sec. I gotta go on the Brotherhood channel and switch my thing.
Mine's not always allowed, so mine's good.
Try not to have technical difficulties. Okay, here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Brotherhood channel. I am your host, A-Rod, and today, welcome to our very first Rose Wrestling podcast. And today, we're going to be talking about NXT Takeover New York and Wrestlemania 35. And of course, I'm here with the brothers.
Yo.
Here with brother Angelo,
What's up, guys?
Yo.
brother Eddie,
What's up, guys?
and brother Andrew.
What's up, guys?
How do I show myself on here, like, on Share Factory? Because I'm streaming right now, too, so.
Do you have a PlayStation camera?
PlayStation camera? No, I don't.
So you can't show yourself.
Fuck.
Okay, so anyway, welcome to our first podcast. So I know it's been a couple of days since after WrestleMania and NXT Takeover New York, but we've been a little busy. But now we have the time right now to talk about our podcast, talk about the entire matches and the entire show. So we're going to go over each match and both shows about what we thought was the best for that event and for that match. So, anyway, you guys have something to say before we want to start up to the show?
These are our opinions and our thoughts, so don't go in the comments butthurt, because we're allowed to express our opinions and you're allowed to express yours too. So if we say something that you don't like, I apologize.
And if we also,
Exactly.
say our opinions on future WWE pay-per-views or, you know, stuff or events coming up, we're just, like I said, giving our opinions, our perspectives, what we feel is going to happen. You know, we don't know if we're going to do future ones yet, but if we do, that's just because we're giving our predictions and stuff. So, yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so anyway, here to start off right now, we're starting off with NXT Takeover New York, and so what you guys thinking on NXT coming back to Brooklyn? I mean, I know this should be called NXT Takeover Brooklyn 5, but they don't want to call it 5 again until maybe next time, so that's what they call it in New York. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
How do I explain it? To me, if they didn't name it Takeover 5, it was kind of ridiculous and, kind of good at the same time. But overall, I'm not the writers, I'm not the headliner, but, it was a pretty decent pay-per-view.
Angelo?
Pretty decent.
You know, I'll be honest. I never had a chance to actually go and watch NXT that night. I didn't get a chance. I was by the time that the pay-per-view started, I was eating dinner with my family, and not only that, but I was kind of handling some personal stuff at the time, so I didn't really get to see what was going on. My thoughts on it, to be honest, from what I've been told, it sounded pretty good. I saw like the images, I read about it online, and to be honest, it was all right. It wasn't the best NXT one I've seen, but it was all right in my honest opinion. Though there were some good and bad things about it, but I would say it was all right in my honest opinion.
Andrew?
I didn't see it either because I was working. But
But
it
did
was
you
alright,
watch both of them?
Both of what?
Did you watch any of them after when you had days off?
I watched a little bit of it.
Okay, so it's like you're going to be like on and off on both of them, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so my opinion is I freaking loved this event. To me, this NXT Takeover New York was a little bit better than NXT Takeover Phoenix, and NXT Takeover Phoenix was amazing. But I have to say NXT New York actually took it a high more level than NXT Takeover Phoenix did. Anyone have any thoughts before we continue?
I can't think of anything.
No.
Okay, so moving on, starting out to our first match, we have the War Raiders taking on Aleister Black and Ricochet for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Eddie, would you like to elaborate first?
Okay. For a big guy like Hanson, I could never picture him flying and doing any acrobatics like a cruiserweight does. This match, to me, was like something that you get up and down about, like suspense, but sometimes like you expect them to win and you expect them to lose, but in the end that match in my opinion was like an 8 out of 10. Loved it.
Angelo?
There was I've seen some big guys, fly off the top rope. Some of those guys include like Vader, Bam Bam Bigelow, guys like that. I've seen those guys, do some crazy ass shit off the top rope. And I really didn't get the chance to see that match, but I have seen like the results of it, like I said. And to me, I agree with Brother Eddie. I would give it an 8 out of 10 just because of how hyped and how anticipated it was. And so I would definitely give it 8 out of 10.
Andrew?
This match was pretty good. Ensign, like everyone else was saying, he's pretty unique out of all the other guys. But I think with others, it's 8 out of 10 for me also.
Is that all you had to say?
Yeah.
Okay, so in my opinion, this match, the start of the NXT Takeover show, we had Hanson, and especially this match is important because this was Aleister Black and Ricochet's last NXT match before going on to the main roster. This match kicked ass at a good start of the show, especially the combination between with Aleister Black and Ricochet, a black mass out of nowhere, and then the 360, and then luckily the War Raiders actually stopped that and actually retained the titles. I mean, I was going for War Raiders in the first place because I knew Black and Ricochet were going to go to the main roster. So I'll give this match about an 8.5 out of 10 because how amazing it was. It was a little bit slow at first, but it did turn up a lot of things, just like back in NXT TakeOver Phoenix when they fought the Undisputed Era. That match started slow, but it kicked ass at the end. So this match was pretty impressive. Anyone else?
No. Nope.
Okay, so kicking on to the next match, the second match of the night, we had the NXT North American Championship, the Velveteen Dream, defending the title against Matt Riddle. Angelo, would you like to start on this?
Yeah, I'll probably start it. I kind of consider Matt Riddle to be the current version of Kevin Von Erich. I was just adding a joke in there. Well, because the thing is, all he wears is just like a freaking, pair of shorts. He doesn't wear any freaking, knee pads or elbow pads or, or boots or like wrestling shoes or anything. He just kind of reminds me of like Kevin Von Erich of the current generation.
Because he's a former mixed martial artist.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, he could wear, stuff like that. It just feels kind of weird seeing that. But to be honest, like I said, I haven't gotten the chance to watch the pay-per-view lately. But from what I have seen of it, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because, like I said, I'm not a fan of Velveteen Dream. Like, I was never a giant fan of his. But Matt Riddle was also like one of those major underdogs. So if I had to rate it, probably 8.5. And the reason why is because it was kind of like one of those matches where it was kind of like back and forth. you know, and it was like, to be honest, like, and it was like anything can happen kind of thing. So I was in a way, I was kind of hoping that Matt Riddle won, but, you know, I was all right with, you know, Velveteen retaining, but, you know, it is what it is, you know, but, uh, you know, I'm okay with it, so I would say 8.5 would be my rating.
Okay, Andrew, would you like to elaborate on that?
Um, more in the Matt Riddle, like he has comes out with flip flops on and being a mixed martial artist and all that, and then him trying to be NXT North American champion, and then we got Velveteen Dream coming in, you know, being him, the whole match being pretty good. Um, like Angelo said, they're going back and forth. Uh, I thought, I thought Dream was gonna retain, and he did. I think the match was, in my opinion, was 7.5 or 8 to me.
Okay. Eddie, would you like to elaborate on that?
Well, this match to me, Matt Riddle was coming in on an undefeated streak. And like everyone says, every streak must die. And when I saw that Velveteen Dream retained, I was like, oh wow, I was not expecting that. But the match was back and forth. It was okay, but if I have to rate it, it wasn't to me wasn't that interesting. It would be a 6.5 out of 7.
Hmm.
Just wasn't my go-to kind of match.
So you would say 6.5 out of 10?
Yeah, basically.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, from my point of view for this match, I thought this match was going to be boring because I know Matt Riddle, he has good potential. Because, I mean, the match I was not impressed was when he fought Cassius Ohno in NXT TakeOver Phoenix. That match was, yeah, okay, but wasn't that really good at all, especially how quick it was. But for this match, Matt Riddle did step up in this match where he actually did, give Velveteen Dream a hard time. It's actually at the point where I was stood up on my couch, seeing Matt Riddle dominate like this, where it's like, wow, is he actually going to capture his first title? And then when he tries to hit that bro lock, Velveteen Dream just got right on top of him, just hit a 1, 2, 3, and both shoulders were down. That right there was a shocker. But this match, I have to say it's an 8 out of 10 because I like how Matt Riddle put up a good fight. We thought we thought he could be champion. He did a lot better in this match than he fought Cassius Ohno. But thanks for the Velveteen Dream retaining the title. Like this, it was a pretty good. Anyone else want to say anything about this?
I'll say one. I'll say one thing. Like I said, a lot of people, and I've read a lot of like predictions that what's going on heading into the NXT pay-per-view, and I've read a lot of predictions that a lot of people were predicting were going to happen. A lot of people were going with Matt Riddle, like I said, because he was kind of like the underdog. He had a lot to prove into the match, because he was kind of, going into it with an undefeated streak, and Velveteen Dream was like one of the most hated NXT superstars right now. And it was like kind of like the kind of thing where it was how can I say it? It was kind of like a match of epic proportions, as a lot of people say, like Brother Eddie said. Like, the match could have been better. Like, it could have been way, way better, Like, Velveteen Dream could have used his finisher and just beat him that way instead of just, hitting him with a leverage pin, But, like, to be honest, I mean, overall, I feel that Matt Riddle should be champion, you know, but, like, I don't make the decision, so even though I feel Matt Riddle should be champion, you know, I, you know, Dream's still champion, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not a giant fan of either or. But to be honest, I kind of wanted Riddle to win that match because it was, it was kind of like, he was ready to become North American champion, but it was alright.
Interesting. Yeah, this match actually did improved, which that's one thing I liked about how this match
I
really
agree.
turned out.
I agree.
Anyone else got anything to share?
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay,
I'm alright.
so after this entire match, we kicked on to the third match of the night, which this to me, I had to say this was the best match of the night. But Andrew, would you like to elaborate on this between Pete Dunne and then Walter for the UK title?
Well, I never would have thought that Walter would actually win the title. Pete Dunne had a long reign of NXT UK champion, and yeah, I never would have thought Walter would win. So, having Walter win kind of changed the division, and seeing Walter defend it. I want to see how this ends up. Match, I rated a 8 out of 10.
Okay. Eddie, would you like to elaborate on this? Because I know you've been dying to talk about this match.
Oh, yes. Let's go to this matchup. This match, to me, was the best ever out of the whole takeover in the whole entire world. It was back and forth. It was interesting. To me, it was a jump up and down kind of thing until the floor freaking had a hole in it. I don't give a damn what y'all say. but seeing Walter freaking beat Pete Dunne, me and Adam actually kind of called that. We called that he was going to dethrone Pete Dunne.
Yep.
And to be honest, I cannot wait to see what he does for a reign for the United Kingdom Championship. And I say that no one's going to dethrone Walter for a while. So this match, 10 out of 10.
Very impressive. Angelo, would you like to elaborate on that?
Well, I have seen Pete Dunne in action before when he came into the main roster to participate in a U.S. title match. I've seen the guy participate and compete in the ring, and a lot of people, especially my brothers here, have told me, oh, nobody's going to be able to beat, Dunne for the United Kingdom title because of how dominant he was.
But me and Eddie
And then,
said that Walter was going to do it.
Yeah, I know, and yeah, that when it actually before the pay-per-view started, and when I found out that Walter actually did what it took to beat Dunne, I was kind of speechless actually. Like I didn't have like the reaction like Eddie or Adam or had like where I almost broke through a wall through a freaking floor, I was kind of surprised actually. I actually did not believe the fact that Walter, of all people, could have actually, how can I say it, vanished the reign of Pete Dunne. And Pete Dunne was champion for what, like 626 days?
685.
Oh, 685? Oh, I knew it was
So you're
600
kind of like, on my thing.
Yeah, you guys don't know.
Yeah, but no, what I was saying was, like I said, I didn't get to really watch the match, because like I said, I had a lot of stuff going on, plus I was eating dinner too, so I didn't get to see what was going on, and I haven't had a chance to watch it. But from what I have seen of it, I would say about 9.5, and the reason why I say that not is because I felt if the match put in, a lot more oh my god moments, Like if they did like freaking like crazy ass power bombs off the top rope or shit like that, that would have been even better to me. But I would give it about 9.5. But like I said, I agree with Eddie. It was a unforgettable last match. It was personally my favorite match out of the whole pay-per-view that I've seen. But like I said, I wasn't jumping off the floor and making holes in it. But no, I would say that was probably my favorite match too. But like I said, that's why I say 9.5. Because I was just mainly speechless out of the match. I wasn't, like I said, doing that crazy ass shit that they were doing. But
I was drunk on that night too.
I know that. But no, I was saying I would say 9.5, and just because of Walter becoming new champion, and also because of how hyped and how anticipated that match was. So 9.5 for me.
Alright, so I'm like with Eddie on this one right here. I wanted to see this match. This was the match I wanted to see out of any other matches that I had on here, because this Pete Dunne, and I could be wrong about this, has beaten everyone on the UK roster. And then when Walter stepped in from the independent foreign scene, I was like, damn, this guy is freaking huge. He could have the potential. And then when I saw him dominate in the UK, I'm like, okay, he's definitely good to dethrone Pete Dunne. No one else is good to dethrone Pete Dunne except for Walter. And then for this entire match, Walter actually did dominate this match with Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne had a few counters against him going for his fingers, but Walter shook it off. Especially, he actually stopped Pete Dunne too, trying to crush his fingers at one point. And then when Walter hit a power bomb off the top rope, and then the big splash, that one got me out of my seat. And then when I heard that 3 count, I was jumping out of my fucking couch, just with the freaking alcohol in my hand, just cheering Walter and just singing his music. And then seeing him holding up that title, this match, this one to me was the best match of the night. And both, of course, in Eddie's point of view too, this is the best match of the night. I give this a 10 out of 10. Anyone else want to elaborate on this before we continue?
Yep.
Go ahead, Eddie. I'll let you go first.
Like I said, we don't know how long this reign is going to be, but all I can tell you is that this is not going to get dropped or have a new champion for a long, long time.
So you're saying we'll have another?
So
you're saying we'll have another 685-day champion on our hands?
Maybe longer.
I say that's going to be the case, yes, because there's no way in heck anyone's going to beat Walter right yet.
My perspective is, like I said, Eddie and Adam made a lot of good points. Like Walter came into the scene. He was kind of like the destructive. He was like the guy who would destroy other people. And then he would just come in and make a name for himself. Which he actually did. And I remember I didn't actually get to watch the pay-per-view, but I remember I was in the party with Adam, and and he went, and when I heard him go nuts, I heard him actually go nuts when that actually happened, and I was like, and my reaction was like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? I was like,
because we had a new champion. We have a new UK champion.
Dude,
and I couldn't. No, when I heard about that, I was kind of shocked, because it was I knew how good Pete Dunne was, and I was like, I couldn't make out what Adam was saying, because he was speaking so fast, and it was because he was drinking, he was kind of slurring what he was saying, so I couldn't make out what he was saying. But
I was going to say his mind.
Yeah, I know, and it was and I remember Eddie almost lost his voice because of it, and
almost put a hole through the floor.
I know, right? Yeah, I know. And Eddie actually almost did put a hole in his foot. I heard him slamming his foot like on the floor so goddamn hard. I was like, Eddie, stop slamming the floor! You're gonna put a hole in it.
Well, the floor was being done to win. Of course, I was gonna give it a discipline.
Because we all wanted Walter to win, because we knew he was gonna win.
And like I said, I didn't know that much about Walter. I only knew about what, like I said, what Brother Adam and Brother Eddie told me about. But I didn't get to, like I said, I didn't get the chance to watch it. But like I said, I'm a big Walter guy myself. If I have to say so myself, I will admit that I am a big Walter guy myself. And at first, I didn't think Walter was gonna actually pull it out, because like I said, I knew how good Pete Dunne was. But then after I heard like Adam and Eddie freaking like, after I heard like Adam freaking going, almost throwing his couch, and after I almost freaking heard like, and then when I heard like Eddie almost putting a hole in his freaking floor twice, I was like, I had a feeling, I was like, yeah, Walter's gonna pull it out, and I was like, and ever since then I've been a big fan of Walter, so. Like I said, those two groups over there are the two biggest freaking crazy ass ones in the group.
Well, I was drunk, okay? I had to react.
Too, by the way.
I know, Eddie. I know, Adam was drunk. Eddie was kind of like the cuckoo guy. He was kind of like almost putting a hole in his goddamn floor like 4 times.
There's only a crack on the wall and the floor too, so I'm kind of
a crack on the wall. A crack on the wall. You had to pay for that goddamn wall. But no, I was saying was, like I said, if it had more oh my god moments, like, somebody putting each other through the announce tables, shit like that, I would have rated it a 10. But, since, hitting a power bomb off the top and then the splash, I think that's what made it a 9.5 for me. So, I would say that's probably my favorite one as well, so.
All I can say is, you need to go back and watch this match. And just sit there and just watch how impressive this entire thing was.
No, I'm definitely gonna go back and watch it, and I'm definitely gonna see like, why you goofs acted out the way you did. But but no, I was in the party. And in case you guys didn't know this, I was actually in the party with Adam and Eddie when they were actually watching it. When they were actually watching it. Andrew was working at the time. But I was actually in the party when they were actually watching it, so I actually kind of heard what was going on from their side, and so that's why I was saying like, like Eddie, calm the hell down. You almost put a hole in your goddamn floor. No. And I know, and I heard Adam almost freaking flipping his bottle over like 4 times, and then I was like, will you goofs calm the hell down? I know you're excited that Walter won, but I was just like, I didn't want any freaking chaos to break through. So I was like,
You were a doubter. We told you so.
Exactly.
I wasn't a doubter.
I've been saying this ever since I first saw Blackpool.
Yeah, I know, and the thing was I wasn't a doubter of Walter. I wasn't a doubter of his. I just, like I said, I've watched Pete Dunne more than I have Walter. So I was kind of like thinking, okay, Pete Dunne's gonna pull it out, because like I said, I know what Pete Dunne can do.
Shows you right there.
Well, but like I said, I didn't doubt Walter though. I said he could have pulled it out, because like I said, I don't doubt people. Like I don't, I didn't say, I could have said Walter could have pulled it out, but when I found out Walter actually pulled it out by hitting the top rope powerbomb and the freaking splash, there was a part of me that wanted Walter to win, and I was actually kind of happy when he won. So, but I was kind of laughing my ass off after Eddie and Adam reacted to that. I was just laughing my ass off. I laughed so hard I almost pissed myself. I almost pissed myself. It was so funny.
Okay. So do we have everything all out right now?
Yeah, yes. I'm good.
Okay, so yeah, this match was impressive. Like, there was no doubt about the best match of the night. So after that entire hype, through everything, we had to go on to the next match, which was, after all, we were just so exhausted from the Pete Dunne and the Walter match. We had to go on to the next match. Was for the NXT Women's Championship, the Fatal 4 between Bianca Belair, Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, and then Shayna Baszler defending the title. So, Eddie, I know you want to elaborate on this first, so I'm going to let you go first on this match.
First of all, this match was gay.
Well, that's the point of view.
Second of all, can we talk about how freaking Bianca Belair's freaking lipstick does not match her personality? Like, come on.
That's why I don't like her gimmick. That's why I don't like her gimmick. I like this shit.
She looks like, I'm sorry if any of y'all are Bianca Belair fans, and I'm sorry if she's watching this, but she looks like a prostitute. Okay.
Just not the expensive type.
Yeah, not the expensive type.
Like the Rock said.
This match, and Shayna Baszler looks like a dude. I'm sorry.
She's got a penis.
She's got
Oh my
But yeah, I wanted Io Shirai to win or Kairi Sane to win, but my wish wasn't granted because fuck my life and fuck that's how it goes. And this match was kind of boring, yada yada yada. And to be honest, if I had to rate this, it would be a 3 out of 10. Like, only reason being is because there was nothing hype, there was nothing special. And besides, Shayna Baszler, you're going to lose that title. Even if it's going to be to one of these people and the new ones coming up, you're going to lose the title. And you better not lose it to Bianca Belair, because if you do, I am so going to roast your ass on how manly you look. So that's mine.
Okay, so Andrew, would you want to say about this match, or say what Eddie had to say about what happened?
From what I heard, it sounds like it's not a really good match. I don't really have any thoughts about it, but I mean, Shayna Baszler's at some point she's gonna lose. But I'm gonna have to rate like 3.5 or somewhere on there.
So what do you have to say about what he had to re-relight on that?
I'm gonna have to agree on that, on what he said.
Okay. Angela, would you like to elaborate?
Where can I begin? Let's see. I feel like the women's title match at NXT Takeover that night was kind of shitty, if you want my honest opinion. Like, I've seen better NXT title match, women's title matches than that, and to be honest, Bianca Belair, I can't stand Bianca Belair. Like, I think she's kind of like one of those female superstars where, like, a lot of people feel like she's a bit overused. Like, she's kind of like, in a way, I kind of feel like she's kind of like the Roman Reigns of NXT. Like, where she, like, is, how can I say it, well loved by the board of directors and, you know, by, like, the, you know, owner of NXT, and
Triple H.
I feel, yeah, exactly, and I feel that she has been getting way too much, to be honest. But the only thing is Shayna Baszler is another one of those superstars where, like, who a lot of people didn't think was going to be champion, because a lot of people A, despised her, and B, because of her looking like a man, and 3, because of I'm sorry, that was too funny. And 3, because, you know, of, you know, her moveset. Like, her moveset's kind of basic. And to be honest, I kind of wanted Kairi Sane to win it, and the reason why Kairi Sane to win it. Sorry, I said the name wrong. And the reason why was Kairi Sane was, you know, the hardest working one of the 4 people that was in the match. You know, she'd been, you know, facing on some big name, you know, female superstars in NXT, and, you know, I felt like it was her time to be champion, but, you know, like, I felt like it was her time, because because like I said, she was hitting it into this with, you know, the most love and like the most, you know, fan base and the biggest fan base. And I'm sorry if I'm kind of rambling on here, but Shayna Baszler, I don't like Shayna Baszler. Yeah, I agree. I agree with Eddie in that statement. Yeah, she's got a wee wee, I should say.
Why that way? What the hell's wrong with you?
I don't want to sound perverted, okay? But
Don't we all?
yes. But no, I would say if I had to rate that match, I would rate it even lower than what the brothers have rated it. I would say a 2. And the reason why is because that match was boring. It was kind of like we already knew who was going to win that match, you know? Like we already knew like, oh, this person was going to do that, you know, this and that, you know? It was like, you know, it didn't surprise me that Shayna won that match. And to be honest, I know, you know, either Kairi Sane or, you know, somebody like that, you know, somebody who's actually worked hard, you know, will win that title. And Bianca Belair doesn't deserve to win that title because a lot of the people were saying that she mainly uses her hair as a move. And I'm like, why? Like, why would you use your own hair, okay, as a signature?
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's not her real hair. That's an extension.
I know, and I've noticed that, and I was like, you know, if you pull out on that hair, it's gonna come out. And I was like, it's like pulling out a pinata. It's like, you know, you hit it with a stick, it's gonna come out. You know, it's like, you know.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you pull it out and a real hair comes out, you're screaming, bald, 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 my eyes.
Imagine that actually happens on an actual NXT show. Like her hair just comes out and everyone just start roasting her after that.
I can see that happening.
She's bald. She's bald. She's bald.
Oh fuck!
I almost said something fucked up.
Would you like to finish up, Angelo?
No, I was saying was I agree with Eddie in this case. Is the two most hated female superstars right now in NXT is Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair literally has to freaking hit you with her hair just to freaking beat you, you know, which I think is kind of pathetic and kind of a, you know, low life move. And at least with Shayna, at least if she beats you fairly. But the only thing is her moves are kind of basic. So, like I said, I'll agree with Eddie. Like I said, Shayna Baszler is kind of like the male, and in NXT, you know, she's got a dick. She's got a penis. She's got a penis. She's also kind of like, she kind of has like that face of a man where it's like you just want to beat it up all the goddamn time. And like Eddie said with Bianca Belair, like that, you know, lipstick did not go well with her. So if I had to rate the match overall, I would say a 2. And that's lower, but that's, like I said, because I have a complete hatred for Bianca Belair and Shayna Baszler. That's just me. But I wanted Kairi Sane to win it personally. That was me. But I know Shayna Baszler is going to lose the title, and I hope freaking Bianca Belair gets freaking thrown out of NXT very soon. Because it'll teach her a lesson in using her fucking hair as a freaking, you know, weapon, you know, and it doesn't even do anything for her. It's just going to get her hair pulled out, and it's going to turn her bald. But no, I would say a 2 for that match. And like I said, because that match was boring, and, you know, like I said, because I completely despise Belair and Bianca. So I would say a 2.
Okay. So, from my point of view, I like how you guys just ignore Io Shirai.
I couldn't say the name. I couldn't say the name.
Yeah, just
I said it first the
you
right
could-
way. Why didn't you listen to my way?
You could have just called her Shirai instead of just saying Io,
No,
but it doesn't matter.
I could never pronounce her name right. I knew her name. I could never pronounce her
It
name
took me a
right.
while when I first heard of her in the Mae Young Classic.
That's what I said. I didn't want to say the name and then look like a complete another buffoon here in the freaking stream here.
All
And then, like
buffoons.
people, yeah, I know. I mean, I didn't want to look like a stupid buffoon. Like where people will come back and like say to me like, "What the hell is wrong with you? You're supposed to be a WWE fan. You're supposed to be saying these names right. And it's like I don't know how to pronounce her goddamn name. So I'm like. I figure, maybe if I hear it a lot more, I can get better at saying it.
Okay. So, for me, for this match, I mean, I actually thought that people have been rumoring all over the internet saying that Bianca Belair was going to win this because we're going to have like Kairi Sane and Io Shirai go at it since they're like the good, best Japanese friends. They were going to go at it, which they did kind of went at it sometimes, but they mostly tag teamed during the entire match. And then they had their moment where they broke up each other's pinfalls. And then when Io Shirai hit the ceiling sees on Bianca, and then out of nowhere comes Shayna Baszler putting the sleeper hold on Bianca, making Bianca tap out. But all I can say is for this match, at least that I don't know what the hell their names are, but for the 4 horsewomen at least did not get involved. That's the one thing I was like, okay, so they didn't get involved. Shayna actually did prove this on herself. She stole the win, but that's just how a fair 4-way match is. It's a 25% chance of winning this match no matter what. So you have to do whatever you have to take just to retain this title. Anyone else want to elaborate first before we go on?
This match was gay.
Yeah, I agree. This match was gay. I agree.
Okay, so here we go on. We're going on to the main event, and this one was kind of a doozy, but at the same time it was a really good match. We had the vacated NXT Championship since that Tommaso Ciampa had to relinquish it because of his neck injury that was caused on, I think it was on Raw against the Revival. And so we had his best friend, Johnny Gargano, taking on Adam Cole, the leader of the Undisputed Era. So who wants to go on first on this one?
Any takers?
I'll go on this one.
Okay.
Alright.
Like I said, I knew that I don't really know much about what to say about this match because I know less about this match than any other match, but from what I've seen and from what I've heard from when I was in the party with Eddie and Adam, was that match was kind of. That match could have ended either way, kind of. It was like where Adam Cole, there were times when Adam Cole almost pulled it out, and there were times when Johnny Gargano could have pulled it out. But to be honest, I was a little bit on edge about that match. I was a bit hesitant about it. Like, I was not actually looking forward to that match, and the reason why was because that match, well, we've seen that match already, and not only that too, but like, we
actually never saw Gargano and Adam Cole one-on-one, so this was their first time ever.
Oh, it was? I could have sworn we saw that match. Oh no, it was a tag team match. That's right.
Yeah, it was a tag team.
That's right. I was thinking of the tag team. That's right. I was thinking of. I thought they had a one-on-one. It was a tag team match I was thinking of. It was the first ever one-on-one match with them, and to be honest, I'm more of an Adam Cole kind of guy. Like, I'm not a fan of the Undisputed Era. I couldn't get into him, but I do like Adam Cole. I love his moveset. I like some of the stuff, the stuff that he's pulled out. But I was leaning more towards Adam Cole winning to that match because, like I said, he was NXT tag team champion in the past, and he was NXT North American champion before. So I figured, why not make him a Triple Crown winner by making him, NXT champion. So that's why I thought, okay, maybe they're going to give Adam Cole the win by making him, champion. They did this. It was the same thing with Gargano too, and like I said, if I had to rate that match, I would rate it in the middle. I would say 5.5. And the reason why I say that is because the match wasn't as back and forth as the other matches were. It was kind of one-sided. It was kind of like all like Adam Cole in the whole match. it was kind of one-sided the whole match. It was it was like it was like I said one-sided. But then Gargano kind of, how can I say it? Like did a sneak attack or whatever to pull out a win, and
Is it the other way around because Adam Cole had the Undisputed Era and then Gargano countered it?
well, yeah, but like there was also times when Gargano actually also pulled out some stuff that a lot of people weren't too happy about, and
Oh, people were
and that
happy.
also, well, yeah, but also a lot of the times too was Adam Cole was a lot of the people were happy with the fact that Gargano won, and I was actually kind of happy about it, but I was like, I would say 5.5, and that was because, like I said, it was mainly one-sided. But like I said, I don't really know much about the match. Like I said, I wasn't a giant fan of the match. I don't really know that much about it. I only know of what I heard from when I was in the stream with Adam and Eddie. So that's all I know about. So I'll just have to go with what I heard and from what I've seen. So that's all I've known. So I would say about 5.5.
Okay. Andrew, would you like to elaborate on this?
Well, first I thought, I'm surprised Angelo didn't catch this or anything, or I don't know if Eddie or Adam knows, but this, I thought Adam Cole was gonna win this one because I thought Johnny Gargano was gonna go to the main roster because he was part of the 4 people that was gonna go to their main roster or something like that. But
I actually forgot about that.
yeah, but it turns out it looks like he might be staying in NXT for a while. But this match was alright. I might agree with Angelo, but just a little bit higher. 6 stars in this one. Because I didn't think Johnny Gargano was gonna win this one.
I agree with Andrew there. I thought Adam Cole was going to pull it out because of the undisputed era coming out and intervening. But when Gargano won, I think that's what made it like a little higher in the ranks for me. So.
Okay, Eddie, would you like to elaborate? Hold on. Go ahead,
I
Andrew.
also want to say that I think they gave Johnny Gargano the win was because Tommaso Ciampa put out an injury, so they kind of turned events and let Johnny Gargano have the title for a while.
It was originally supposed to be Adam Cole who was supposed to win it, but they wanted it because of Ciampa's neck injury.
Yeah.
Because if Ciampa didn't get his neck injury, Adam Cole was actually going to actually defeat Tommaso Ciampa to become the new NXT champion. But because Ciampa got injured, they put Gargano as the champion. So I mean, I kind of understand why they did it, but I also kind of disagree with how they did it. So that's all I'll say.
So you two done with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Eddie.
Okay, now this was my second favorite match, and the reason being is because it was back and forth. After when Adam Cole got the first fall, I was thinking, oh, so he's gonna win. And here comes Gargano out of nowhere, tapping him out. That'll be 1 out of 1. And after that, it was tied 1-1, right? And then it was like an amazing match. It was going back and forth. And then when I saw the Undisputed Era interfere, I was like, oh no. So we're not going to have a fair fight. We're going to have Adam Cole win, which honestly I was going to go for him because, like Andrew said, I thought Johnny Gargano was going to go straight up to the main roster. But apparently that did not happen. Now with that fact, when I saw Gargano won the title, he is the first ever Triple Crown winner in NXT. First ever in history. I'm surprised that both of you didn't mention that. And if I had to rate this match...
Alright.
Okay. If I had to rate this match, it would honestly be a bit higher. I have to go 9 out of 10. Because it was just back and forth nonstop.
Okay. Okay, Angelo should have. Okay, Angelo should have muted his mic.
Yeah.
Damn it, Angelo, shut your dogs up!
Okay, anyway, so I'm gonna have to say this out loud since the dogs are back in the room. This match, I had to go with Eddie. This is my second favorite match on here. But for the first time ever in wrestling, when I've been watching wrestling for over 10 years, I've never actually picked who I thought would win this match. They both deserve it so much, but usually I would pick anyone for any match, which I always do because I usually struggle. I'm like, okay, maybe he's gonna win, but this is the first time where I actually agree, where I actually have to say, you know, this is the only match I would say I wouldn't even pick a winner. So, I mean, I want both of them to win. Gargano's been in NXT for a long time, trying to at least capture the title so he can actually, you know, to actually become champion before going to the main roster. And then here's Adam Cole, who has also worked his ass off too, hasn't had the title since the North American title, and actually winning and actually losing it to Ricochet back at Takeover Brooklyn 4. But these two put up a hell of a good match. I mean, I thought Adam Cole was actually going to win when I saw the Undisputed Era, and then Gargano took them all out, completed the entire odds, winning it, becoming a first ever Triple Crown champion. One thing I liked how too is his attire was like Iron Man. And this was a really good match. And then when at the ending, when Gargano was celebrating, and then we saw Tommaso Ciampa come out wearing a neck brace, I was like, wow, this is just an emotional thing, especially with DIY, you know, together, especially with Kane and LeRae out there. This match was rated the second, just like this match was another back and forth thing, just like the Walter and Pete done. So I had to give this a 9 out of 10.
My name is George. She might say Douglas, but it's not Douglas.
Anyone want to say anything else before we go on? Okay, so Angelo's just talking over some of the background.
Should have muted his mic, damn you.
Okay, so anyway, now we're at the end of NXT TakeOver. So how do you guys want to rate this pay-per-view of NXT TakeOver New York?
Wow, where do I begin? Like I said, there was only 2 matches I was interested in. That was the Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano, and then the Walter and Pete. Those matches took the whole ballpark out of it. But the whole pay-per-view in general, I would have to go 8 out of 10.
Andrew?
I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. What match are you guys doing?
To give it.
We're talking about how do we want to rate the entire pay-per-view. So Eddie says 8 out of 10. Andrew?
I say 7.5.
Angelo?
If I had to rate the whole thing,
Yeah.
probably 8. I probably agree with Brother Eddie. I'd say probably 8, 8.5. The reason why I say that is because, like I said, I would go up one more. I would say 9, because, like I said, a lot of it was with the Walter match. So to me, the Walter match was what, you know, was the thing that was the deciding factor for me. So I would say a 9. I would definitely say a 9 because of the Walter and Pete Dunne match.
I have to say this match is actually 8.5, and then with a 9, because how impressive this entire night was. I have to say between an 8.5 and a 9, still undeciding, but I'm going to stay on this. Okay, so now we're after NXT. We are done with NXT now. Now we get to go on to WrestleMania 35.
WrestleMania.
So we're gonna see if we can try to go quick on this for WrestleMania. So what I have to say is, for this WrestleMania,
Be right back.
can you mute your mic, please, before you do? I'll take that as a no. So anyway, for this WrestleMania, at first, when I first heard it was coming back to MetLife Stadium back in New York, New Jersey, I was actually at the same time kind of disappointed because it's been about, 6 years since the last time they've been WrestleMania 29. And then they coming back, I was like, oh, come on. Like, okay, at least go somewhere else. You know, like, I was just disappointed that they came back. Eddie, you want to go on this? Why they want to come back?
Yeah, I was hoping for somewhere new as well. Like, we've already had MetLife Stadium over there before, like you said. Just like the New Orleans in last year's WrestleMania. We already had that for WrestleMania 30. Like, spice things up a bit, you know?
Andrew?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you guys. Like, they should go somewhere different.
All right, especially next year. Next year they're returning to Miami, you know, from WrestleMania 28.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's Orlando.
Pirates team.
Isn't it Orlando or is it?
No, it's Tampa.
Oh, Tampa. Okay, so it has been a couple years since they came back from Florida. It's from like 33. So anyway, moving on to the first match was actually the kickoff show. We had the Cruiserweight title for the kickoff with Buddy Murphy versus Tony Nese. Andrew?
This was a surprise for me because I thought, you know, Buddy Murphy was gonna do the win again, but I actually wanted Tony Nese to win so that we would have a new champion. So that was actually a good match, in my opinion. So I got to see a new champion. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Eddie?
Wow, this match to me was amazing. You know when you have cruiserweights come up for the match, you damn well know they're gonna pull off one hell of a match. And I'm still pissed because it was the fucking kickoff.
Well, it's always the kickoff. That's just how it is.
Well, still. You have someone that's 205 pounds going up against someone that's 196 pounds. And I was rooting for Tony Nese all the way. And when I saw him win that title, I was jumping up and down. I almost put another hole through the fucking floor and put a hole through the fucking wall. I was happy. I was so happy that I saw him win, dude. Like, oh my god. It's like, it's his time to shine. And I don't see him losing that belt for a while either. So if I had to go over this match, I have to bump it to a 9.5.
Did I mean to do that? Accidentally. Never mind. Okay, so Angelo, you're back.
Yes, I saw I had to grab some stuff for my dinner. So.
Okay, so what do you have to say for the Tony Nese and the Buddy Murphy match for the Cruiserweight title?
Like I said, I was not watching the kickoff, but like I said, I was in the party with Adam, Andrew. Actually, Andrew was actually at my house when we were watching WrestleMania, so Andrew and I were kind of listening to what you and Brother Eddie were reacting to on the kickoff show, and
well, you gotta remember Adam wasn't in the party with us.
I was on a voice call for a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I had to work on that day.
I heard him in the background. And
Ryan wasn't in the party yet, and he was I think he joined right before it started.
Yeah, and so turn around and I remember I watched Tony Nese before, and he was so like underused. Like he was like, you know, people were booking him wrong and everything like that. Excuse me. And when I found out WrestleMania was coming, I wanted Tony Nese to win it because I wanted him to, you know, prove himself that, you know, he was truly, you know, a cruiserweight champion, that he could definitely be good enough to become cruiserweight champion, and he pulled that off at WrestleMania. And Buddy Murphy was, you know, a hell of a superstar, you know, but Tony Nese pulled it off, and I was really happy about it. So I would say if I had to rate that match, I would rate it just a little bit lower than what Eddie did. I would say maybe 8.5. And the reason why I say that is because, yeah, and the reason why I would say that is because the match was kind of, like it was kind of like a drag. It was kind of like going on for like a while. Like it was going on for a while. Like it was like the beginning part of it was kind of boring, you know. But then when it started getting like to the middle of the match, like when Tony Nese started to like, you know, beat the living crap out of freaking like Buddy Murphy and stuff, that's when it started getting good. So that's why it's a 8.5.
Okay, so I mean, this match was actually pretty cool. I had to give it up for Buddy Murphy, you know, for actually defending the title, especially dropping it to Tony Nese. I was surprised when I heard Tony Nese was given the opportunity. I haven't been watching 205 Live lately, but when I heard Tony Nese, I'm like, okay. So I mean, I thought Buddy Murphy was actually gonna retain the title, but I was just surprised when we see Tony Nese actually winning the title, especially on the kickoff show. One thing I was disappointed was the entrance, because they had to come. There's like a little staircase right next to where you have to go underneath the fucking like stage just to come out, which I was kind of disappointed. I was complaining like, what the hell is this? Why are they coming out through the fucking middle? That was just like the only thing I thought was disappointing.
I agree.
Okay, so shipping on to the next match. Also during the kickoff show, we have the Women's Battle Royal for the kickoff show, and who wants to go first on this?
I'll let Eddie go first because I know he wanted to say some stuff about it.
Yeah. This was gay.
Okay.
Okay, I was disappointed that Carmella won, to be honest. I was rooting for Asuka all the way, because she dropped the title to freaking Charlotte, which Charlotte didn't do nothing to win the damn title. But that's another story to tell on another date. But the match, honestly, was kind of good and kind of bad at the same time, though. But if I had to rate it, it would be in the middle between a 5.5.
Andrew or
Yeah,
Angelo?
I'm at the agree with Eddie on this one. Asuka should have won it because she lost the title. Like again, I agree with Eddie. There's no reason why Charlotte should have won that title. But I'm going to give that 5.5 or 6.
Angelo?
Let me think for a moment.
Do you want me to go then?
Coming up.
I'll go. I got my thought.
Okay.
You know, when I watched SmackDown the night that Asuka lost the title to Charlotte, I was pissed. And if you don't believe me, ask Eddie and
Say it right.
Andrew and them.
I'm
pissed. No, when I watched the SmackDown that night when Charlotte became champion, I simply said to Eddie, I said to him, "I'm pissed," and because, like I said to him, I agree with what Brother Eddie and Brother Andrew just said. Was Charlotte did nothing to get a shot at the title. She did nothing to earn the title match at the WrestleMania at the main event. So she did nothing to do all that. She just bitched and complained like a little baby, just to get what she wanted, and and to be honest, like I've lost all respect I had for Charlotte after that night at SmackDown. I lost all that respect I ever had for her, and as an athlete, and to me, when I found out the Women's Battle Royal was taking place, and I found out Carmella won, I don't know how I reacted. I was kind of, excuse me, I was kind of like confused about it. Like I was kind of like saying to myself, like, why did this happen? Like, why did Carmella win? Like, what was the reason for it? Like, I agree with Brother Eddie and Brother Eddie here when they said Asuka should have won, and
Brother
I agree.
Eddie and Brother Eddie.
What? I said Brother Andrew and Brother Eddie.
There's another Eddie?
Let's keep this on track.
Yeah, let's keep it on track. But when I was saying was I went when ever since Asuka got screwed out of the title on SmackDown, I wanted Asuka to win the Battle Royal at WrestleMania but I was like, I was a little bit pissed. I was a little bit pissed that Carmella won it. I was like, I said to myself, I'm pissed. But, but, no, I was like, but at least it wasn't somebody, you know, who was kind of shitty, you know, who didn't deserve to win the
Like
match.
Sarah Logan.
Yeah, exactly. If it wasn't like Sarah Logan or Ruby Riott or somebody like that, then I would have been fuming mad. You know, I would have been fuming pissed. So like, you know, but like I was actually kind of okay with Carmella winning it, you know, because a lot of people do like Carmella, but they lost a lot of respect for her because she stayed in fucking Corey Graves, that fucking, you know, ugly mohawk-looking douchebag.
Okay.
But no, what I was saying was,
Alright.
you know what I was saying was,
Will you calm down?
I am calm. But no, what I'm saying is if I had to rate that match, I would agree with Brother Eddie and Brother Andrew and say 5.5 because of the fact that Asuka didn't win that match. Because like I said, she got fucked over. So I would definitely say 5.5.
Well, I mean, this match for me, I thought that Asuka was gonna win. I mean, the only thing I liked about this match was Nikki Cross just going crazy on everybody because she just wants to play. But like, when I first saw Asuka get eliminated by Sarah Logan, I was like, no. And then when I saw Carmella, I was like, oh no. But I mean, I have to say, I was like pretty pissed myself when I first heard when Asuka lost the title on SmackDown. Because no matter what, Charlotte just got the fucking title just because of her name and everything. Especially they had to unify that. But we'll get to that later, way later in the podcast. But for me, I really didn't care for, you know, Carmella. Especially if you saw my Royal Rumble video, I was like, no one cares. So I had to say this about a 5.5. That's what my final stand is.
So basically, all of us agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
agree.
So, okay, shifting off to the next during the kickoff show. This is actually live on the USA Network too. When I kept hearing it during the commentary table. So we had the Raw Tag Team Title match. The Revival defending it against Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. So, who wants to go first?
You go first, Andrew.
I guess I'll start.
All right, Andrew.
Well, WrestleMania is the show that streaks is meant to be broken, and Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder won that match. So the losing streak is finally over. I'm about to say, like, I think everyone was driven out for that team, just because Kurt Hawkins can finally get that streak over. So I'm about to rate that like a 8.5 for that match.
Anyone next?
I'll go this one.
Okay.
I'll go next.
Try to make it fast.
I'll try. If I can get my point across. And if I can think of it. Here we go. Personally, when I thought of the match, it was kind of eh. If you want my honest opinion, it was kind of like eh kind of thing. Like, it wasn't the best match I'd seen, but I kind of wanted Hawkins and Ryder to win, because in a way I kind of did want Hawkins to end his losing streak, but at the same time I was like, I kind of felt bad for them. I kind of felt bad for Hawkins, because it was like he was so good, you know, when he first debuted, and then all of a sudden they just turned him to like some kind of jobber, you know, and it was just like, yeah, I didn't like that. But if I had to rate that match, I would say a little bit lower than Andrew's. I would say about 7.5, and the reason why that was because of the fact that that match is actually how can I say it? The match where a lot of people were going for the Revival because they were more dominant than Ryder and Hawkins were, because they just got back together, you know. They just got back as a team, you know. Revival were the tag team for a while, you know. So it was kind of like underdogs, you know, getting back together overcoming all the odds. So I would say about 7.5.
Okay, Eddie.
Well, I can just finally say the streak is broken, the losing streak is gone, but he's yet to win a singles match, so that streak on that one's gonna be a little bit, unless he gets a singles match against the Revival. But I'm glad that Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins won the titles. I mean, you know, it's a WrestleMania moment. Everyone's gonna have one, just like we explained earlier with Tony Nese. He had his WrestleMania moment. But if I had to rate this match, though, it was kind of a lackluster to me. So I'm gonna have to go a 6.5 out of 7.
Okay. For me, I was actually. I mean, I never thought. I mean, I was actually thinking that Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins could win, but mostly the Revival, because the Revival's been mostly getting fucked over on Raw, and I was glad when they were tag team champions. But when I saw Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins won, I was actually kind of excited. What the funniest thing is, Kurt Hawkins' losing streak was 269 days lost or matches. So when they finally won, I'm like, okay, they finally got a WrestleMania moment, but Kurt Hawkins' WrestleMania moment, it was, yeah, okay, but it was only on the Kickoff show. It can't compare to Zack Ryder's when he won the Intercontinental Championship on the main show back at WrestleMania 32. That one I was jumping up and down for when I saw Zack
exactly.
Ryder for WrestleMania moment. But for Kurt Hawkins, I gotta give him props, for actually winning the titles with him and Zack Ryder. But I have to say this will have to be a 7 for me, a 7.10.
Yeah.
Okay, so switching sides, we got the last match for the kickoff show for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and who wants to start off this one?
I'll let Eddie do this one because I know Eddie wanted to speak a little bit about this one.
Okay, can someone explain me why there was like 2 people from Saturday Night Live in this pay-per-view? It just doesn't make sense to me, because you know they were going to get destroyed by Strowman and them. And they're freaking cowards by hiding in the ring and shit.
But the fucking celebrities on fucking WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. The last one was like, what, in WrestleMania 32 with Shaquille O'Neal?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I gotta say Shaquille was good, but that was for another day. This is right now. I'm glad that Braun Strowman won. You know, he deserved it. But my concern is his career is probably gonna get screwed over, because if you haven't noticed that anyone that won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, except for one person, had their careers like screwed.
Yep.
But if I had to rate this match, it would probably be a 7.5.
Okay, Andrew, would you like to go on this? Oh, okay, Angelo.
I'll do this one. A lot went riding on this for a lot of different superstars. There were some test winners in that match. Like Mojo Rawley was in that match. But a lot of people, even I did too. All of us, all the brothers did too. We all thought that Braun Strowman was going to win the match, because we all know that Michael Che and Colin Jost didn't stand a chance against Braun Strowman. We all knew that. They were basically like grease spots they were like grease spots after Strowman was done with them. And I agree with what Eddie said. They basically hid under the match the whole goddamn time. And I think that was kind of pathetic. But if I had to rate that match, just because I already knew Strowman won the match, I was going to win the match, I would say probably a 6. The reason, the killer for me was the Michael Che and the Colin Jost moment when they were hiding under the ring just about the whole match. That was the killer for me. If they actually were in the match and actually participating, then it would have been higher. It would have been about 8.5. But since they didn't participate, it went down a lot. So I would say a 6 for that, because of my favorite Raw superstar, Braun Strowman, won that match. So I'm happy about that.
Okay, Andrew.
What's next for Strowman?
Well, first I'm about to comment on what Eddie said. He said how did them two get in the match? Well, I mean, Braun Strowman kind of asked for them two to be in the match. So I mean, that's kind of like the reason. But like the other reason is like where Eddie said that Wyatt were in the match. I have no idea, but match was, I think it's pretty good. Like I knew Braun Strowman was gonna win the match. Angelo said if they weren't hiding, yeah, but they would be a lot higher. But I mean, in my point, like I guess some people were like, people were always being cowards. Like the Miz, he used to be a coward. Now Daniel Bryan's a coward, but it's just how WWE is. So I kind of expected him not like to be in the match or anything like that, the whole match. So I kind of predicted, that. So that's kind of a good match. I knew Braun Strowman was gonna win, so I give it an 8.
Well, one thing I like how everyone just didn't really didn't pay attention. Did anyone else notice that Andreas Giannamis eliminated himself?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that now. Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? Why did he eliminate himself? I mean, he botched a Hurricanrana, but he fucking slipped and eliminated himself while doing it.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
But for seeing the Saturday Night Live celebrities, I'm like, okay, what the hell is this? Hold on. Sorry about that. But seeing these celebrities coming into a battle royal, I was like, okay, what the hell? I mean, I was okay with Shaquille O'Neal, but I wanted to see Shaquille O'Neal and Big Show. Like that match was supposed to happened since 2009. But for seeing Braun Strowman to win, it was highly predictable he was gonna win. So it wasn't a shocker for me. So what I have to say is about a 6.10 for this match.
Basically what I said, Adam.
So
I said about a 6.
So now the kickoff show was ending. We had to go on to the main event. Not main event. We went on to start the show with Hulk Hogan and Alexa Bliss. Next thing we know, we saw Paul Heyman coming out saying we want the main event, but they didn't. So we're going to switch on to the first match of WrestleMania. Was for the Universal title, the Beast Slayer versus the Beast. Who wants to start off with this one?
I'll do this one.
All right.
I'll do this one. I actually got a lot to say about this one. This match actually really pissed me off, to be honest. And here's why. Because if you're thinking about it, you're talking about a man, okay, who has never really appeared to defend the title in either one of his 2 title reigns, Brock Lesnar, and you're talking about a man, who held the Intercontinental title on his back, Seth Rollins, okay, who was a true deserving champion, okay, and yeah, I was happy that Seth Rollins won the match. I was happy about how he won it, but I was not too happy about it. Was just mainly the whole match was just signatures and finishers. Like I wasn't too happy about that. I wasn't happy about that. I wanted more action. Like I wanted to see like more like the Falcon Arrow. I wanted to see like the suplex to the Falcon Arrow, like what Seth Rollins does. I wanted to see some of that kind of stuff, because that's what, is what I enjoy seeing from Seth Rollins. Mm-hmm. But like I said, it was mainly just like move spamming. It was just like basically like just signatures and finishers all the time. So it was kind of a boring match, I mean, yeah, I was happy that Seth Rollins won it, but I didn't like the overall match itself. So if I had to rate it, I would say probably a 4. And the reason why I say a 4 is because I'm happy that Seth Rollins won the title. That's why. I'm happy that Seth Rollins won the title. But I'm not happy about how the match was. Like how it was just like move spamming and just signatures and finishers, stuff like that. I'm not happy about that, Mm-hmm. So that's why it's so low for me. So that's why I say a 4.
Andrew, would you like to elaborate on that?
Well, all I have to say is, the first thing I have to say is, finally Brock Lesnar is no longer champion.
Amen to that, brother.
Amen.
And I mean, Angelo said the spamming, like, there was no other way to beat Brock Lesnar by like regular moves.
There is actually. Actually, you can.
It
Continue.
could, but it just, but I mean, like, I don't know what WWE's thinking by like, not starting the match, but like attacking before the match.
Yeah, that was. I don't know what they were going through with that.
I'm glad, like, at the end where Seth Rollins curve saw Brock Lesnar 3 times to win the match.
Yeah. I don't mean to interrupt, guys.
It
I'm just gonna go get some more water. I'll be right back. All right.
Mute your mic, please.
It was.
Continue.
It was like not too short, but not too long. So it was kind of like, yeah, but like it was good that Seth Rollins won. So it was kind of good. So I still rate it pretty good. So I still rate like an 8.
Eddie, would you like to elaborate on that?
Hallelujah! Brock Lesnar's no longer champ.
I was
Thank
waiting
the
for someone to
fucking
mention
Lord. And to be honest with this match, it was pretty good in my opinion. But it wasn't as high as I thought it would be. Attacking someone before the match with an F5 on the outside, though, like, I'm like, you do know that's not gonna stop Seth Rollins, right? Like, come on, he's resilient. He's the greatest superstar, and like, we have seen in a long, long time. But if I had to rate this match, though, it would have to be a 6. And the reason being is because, to me, to be honest, that match was just a tad short. To be honest, it was a bit short, in my opinion.
Well, any Brock Lesnar match is short.
Well, yeah, but still. That's why it's a 6.
Well, for me, I have to say I'm fucking finally thank God for fucking Lesnar not being champion anymore. I was surprised when this was an opening of the show. I thought it would be like the second to last match before the main event. But I'm glad they started off where Lesnar can go home, cry the entire show, get this shit done over with by going to Vegas. But I'm so glad that Seth Rollins did live up to the name as the Beast Slayer now by taking that title. And then, I mean, yeah, low blow by pushing the ref. Well, that was the only way. Well, shit, everyone fucking kicked Lesnar in the nuts to win the match. Just like Daniel Bryan almost did. AJ Styles almost did. But Rollins did actually pull off a victory from a low blow and just 3 curb stomps. That's the way to end Lesnar. And I'm glad that Rollins is champion, especially winning the Royal Rumble. Finally, that we have a full-time champion. Lesnar can go back to UFC, get his ass kicked by Daniel Cormier, so he can fucking stay out of business forever. But I have to rate this match. But what?
And also add Undertaker also did too. Oh,
that is true. Yeah, he did. He did low blow Lesnar and then put him in a Hell's Gate for the victory. I forgot about that.
That was at SummerSlam.
Yeah, that was at SummerSlam. But anyway, like, compared to that, this match has to be like a 7 for me, since now we got Lesnar no longer champion. I'm glad for Rollins to be champion now. That's what I have to say. Anyone else want to elaborate before we go on?
I actually do
Hallelujah.
Because we have a lot of anger. We have a lot of anger to release out. So go ahead.
Yeah. You go first, Eddie.
Okay. Can we please not have Lesnar in WWE anymore? Because I swear to God, if he comes to sign with WWE again, I will come over there, teleport, and hit him with his own F5.
He would F5 Lesnar.
I don't care if he's watching this or not. I don't care.
He wants an F5.
I'll give him an F5, alright. F5 on my dick.
Oh, shit. Well, that's a little personal.
I don't care.
Angelo?
Yeah. when Eddie was saying, like, when you guys were saying that every person has to beat Lesnar with a low blow, that's actually not true. Let me explain why. If you remember at WrestleMania 29,
Triple
when
H, yeah.
Triple H never used a low blow once in the match, and he beat Brock Lesnar.
He's a
And one way,
sledgehammer.
another way, yeah, he used the sledgehammer to knock out Lesnar, and then he pedigreed him on the steps.
And also Cena too.
Yeah, exactly. They never used low blows to beat Lesnar, so that's another way of beating Lesnar. Another way to beat Lesnar.
But
there's
those are
3 ways of beating
legends,
Lesnar.
though. These are like new up-and-comers.
Another way to beat Lesnar is also to take out his stomach, because remember, he's also had a bad history of stomach issues. So, because remember, when Triple H and Lesnar faced each other at SummerSlam, Triple H kept going after Lesnar's stomach. He almost beat Lesnar because of it too. So, there's different ways of beating Lesnar, you know. But I was also saying I was happy that Seth Rollins won the match. But I'm just also saying there was other ways of beating Lesnar besides a low blow. You know, that's all I'll say.
Okay. Andrew, you want to say something before we continue?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so after we elaborate to this match, you know, thank God for that. We have to elaborate to the next match right here. Was Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. Now, Andrew, I know you're a huge AJ Styles fan, so I'll let you go first on this one.
This match was pretty good. That whole match, I thought actually he did pull off RKO. AJ Styles kicked out. Pretty much my prediction was good because it was on point. Because AJ Styles did win, so my rating on this was an 8. My choice was AJ Styles.
Obviously. So,
Yeah.
Angelo.
I'll go. All right. This one was kind of like a childhood thing for me. The reason why was because I've been watching AJ Styles since he first debuted in TNA, and I've been watching Randy Orton since he first debuted in the WWE. So it's kind of like, I've been kind of like some of my childhood consisted around those two guys, even though, you know, they're not my two heroes, you know, like my two favorite superstars, but I do like AJ Styles and Randy Orton. But I kind of had a feeling AJ Styles was going to win, and the reason why was because I've seen AJ Styles, you know, in crazy-ass matches like in TNA and, you know, and some other, you know, organizations, and there's also a part of me I was saying Orton because I know Orton would do anything to pull out a victory. But when I saw AJ Styles kicked out of the RKO, I was like, okay, I thought Orton was going to pull out the punt kick and then beat AJ Styles that way. That's what I thought, because usually that's how Orton usually puts away people if the RKO doesn't work. And they actually didn't do that. AJ Styles actually ended up winning the match, and I was actually happy about it. So I would say if I had to rate it, I would say probably about 7.5 and 8. Only reason why I didn't say it was higher than that was because it was kind of predictable. Like, I could see what Randy Orton and AJ Styles were doing even before they did it. So that's why I kind of say 7.5 to an 8.
Okay, Eddie.
This match was back and forth, like I said. And if you haven't noticed, like, if you were up in the upper decks, it was kind of hard to see because there was a bunch of, like, light glare and people up top couldn't see. And I'm surprised no one else has mentioned that. But,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I saw that coming from AJ Styles.
Yeah. But that match was, like, back and forth. Like Andy said, he hit the RKO, AJ kicked out, and to be honest, it could have gone a little bit more better. And the reason being is because I didn't feel I didn't feel that excitement going around. I honestly think that the universe wasn't excited for it either. I think they were just like a little bit bland and a little bit
Can I
But
interrupt for a little bit, for a second for this
yeah,
point? You want to know why they were like that? You know, the fans were like not into this match. It's because
like
of the fucking lighting. Because Randy Orton even posted on his Instagram, everyone was pissed. You know, why do you think the fans were shouting out random shit? Because the lights were in their way. Everyone, the entire audience too, didn't like how the lights were just in the way. So that's why people were pissed during the entire match because they couldn't see the match.
Mm-hmm.
well, yeah,
Continue.
Yeah, exactly. I've even noticed that.
Alrighty.
and to rate this, it would have to be a 6.5.
Wow. That low.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, this match. I mean, it was great to. I mean, it was good to see the Orton and AJ Styles. You know, for like a good match where they had. I mean, I knew the rivalry would start in pretty soon, but luckily for cameras, we didn't. You know, we didn't have to deal with that light issue so much for the people in the audience. There was just nothing but hatred going on through the entire night because of the lighting. Because WWE needs to fix their lighting sets. It was even like that at the Royal Rumble too, because
Yeah, exactly.
because where me and Andrew were sitting, we had a problem with some of the lights in the beginning during the kickoff show and the first match at the Royal Rumble. We got pissed at that, so we feel how the WWE universe is. You know, with the lights like that, it's just so bright. But
Yeah,
for
I
this,
know.
match I have to say around a 7 for me. It could have been a lot better, but I had to say a 7 because these two are like our perfect, good wrestlers for over the years.
Yep.
So elaborating from that, we got into the next match, which we had the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Also, Ricochet and Aleister Black's main roster debut at WrestleMania. Who wants to go first?
anybody?
I'll probably start this one.
Okay.
What do I think about this match? Well, Andrew and I were sitting down. We were watching the pay-per-view together, and I remember Andrew's reaction, and Andrew remembers mine. I sat there with a blank reaction on my face at first, and I was thinking to myself, like, what's the point? Like, I was happy that Aleister Black and Ricochet got a title shot on SmackDown, but I was like, but why did it have to be a fatal four-way match? Like, it could have just been a regular regular tag team match, But I would say that match is all over the place. Like, it was so hard to keep track of everything that was going on because it was like one tag team going after the other, and then it was constant tags everywhere. So it was kind of hard to keep track of everything. If I had to rate the match, I would say probably a 7. The reason why is because even though the Usos retained, the Ricochet and Aleister Black were kind of like the big ones that a lot of people want to win the match, and they were actually doing really, really good in the match. They were making names for themselves in the main roster, especially on their first night. So, I feel yeah, it was a 7. I feel like the match could have been even better. Every match in that pay-per-view I felt could have been even better, but in some way. But I felt like this match could have had even more chaos, like tag teams battling each other outside the ring, destroying one another, etc. That would have made the match even better. But for me, I would say a 7.
Andrew?
Well, first to start off, Angelo didn't point out the OMG moment in that match, in which Cesaro was swinging Ricochet for the longest time, while Sheamus was batting everyone else that came up, and it was that was just funny.
That was the
That was
funniest
funny.
part.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Anyway.
I wanted
So
to say something.
basically,
I wanted to say something about it, but I couldn't. I didn't know what to say about it. So
Continue on, Andrew.
had to be the best. That had to be the best moment in that entire match.
I agree. I agree.
Agreed.
I agree.
But not having Aleister Black and Ricochet winning that match was a little disappointing to me. But I mean, but another point was like WWE was like they just got to their main roster like a couple months ago, and they're gonna have to put a tell on them. So I mean, like I don't. They gotta, they had like Samoa Joe wait for like 1 or 2 months, 2
2
years
years. Yeah, 2 years.
for a title. So I mean, like it's not like not fair for Samoa Joe to wait 6 years while Ricochet and Aleister Black just came in the thing and just win it.
Yep.
So I can understand that point. So I'm alright with Usos retaining. So I give that a 7.5.
Alright, Eddie.
First off, can we talk about how awesome Aleister Black's entrance was?
And
the freaking
Ricochet's.
WrestleMania? And
Yeah.
Ricochet's.
Yeah.
They, to me, those were the best entrances out of that whole entire Fatal 4-Way. And to be honest, I was a bit disappointed that Aleister and Ricochet did not win the titles. I was either going for them or, surprisingly, Rusev or Nakamura.
What?
Yeah. The reason being is because, those two are starting to get off in good terms. I mean, yes, they were rivals at the time, but they got along perfectly, and good rivals come bitter enemies come good rivals. Well, you know what I mean.
It's kind of like
But-
the Sheamus and Cesaro story from the beginning, and look how they
Yeah,
succeed.
exactly. But I wasn't happy that the Usos retained. I could have felt like we could have had new champions crowned. So, in my opinion, I have to go halfway with a 5.
I mean, for me, this was a pretty good match, the entrances, but when I saw Aleister Black and Ricochet's, I was so excited. And it's a good thing the sun went down as fast as it did. Seeing Ricochet come out first, and then Aleister Black's was like the best entrance coming out with the candles, and then his, especially that his entrance came out from the middle. Not like middle entranceway, but like middle where the staging area, where the screen's at, just rising up from the ground was just amazing. This is like an amazing moment for NXT wrestlers to actually come out at entrance at WrestleMania like this in a pretty impressive entrance. The match itself was actually pretty cool, especially the OMG moment with Cesaro and Sheamus doing their moves, and so I don't know how long Ricochet got so many spins. And then,
I think it was like 2-3 minutes, I believe.
and then seeing everyone doing finishers, a black mass, a 630 on Kinshasa, a Machka kick, a uppercut, a bro kick, and then of course the Usos kick and the Samoan splash. But I have to say this had to be a 6.5. I mean, yeah, the Usos retained, but they finally got their WrestleMania moment they've been looking for a long time. But at the same time, this match was also impressive. I could go a little higher, but I'd say a 6.5. But for WrestleMania, but the Usos got their WrestleMania moment. That's one thing I'm happy about.
Yeah.
So, okay, elaborating after that for that good match, we have The Miz and Shane McMahon match, the Falls Count Anywhere.
I will let Eddie take this one because I know Eddie was fuming mad when he found out about this one.
All right.
So I'll let Eddie handle this one.
Yeah, this to me was a luster. And the reason being, the only thing that was interesting was a suplex 15 feet to the freaking ground. Okay, to me that was the only thing that was interesting. And the only thing that I also noticed too was freaking the Miz's dad wanted to fight. I'm like thinking, what in the hell is this crap?
Exactly.
How is this crap? A
That was my
16-year-old
reaction,
man
too.
wants to fight Shane. Like, you know you're gonna get your ass whooped. I don't give a damn who you are.
Yep.
But everything was going fine until the fucking end of the match. Okay? The end of the match to me was like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? This is how it ends with a freaking suplex with a 1, 2, 3. Like, get out of here.
Well, it's 50 feet in the air. You would be surprised.
Well, still, I honestly still was gonna rate that a 3 or a 4 because of that. Like, I wanted to end with someone using their finisher on somebody. That's how usually matches end. Not
Or
usually not with
off the
11
tower.
pin. Well, yeah, but still. Still, 3.5 to a 4.
Andrew?
I'm about to agree with Eddie on this. It was good that they took it like all back the backstage area, but like to the audience side. But like, yeah, like how Eddie said, and I was just disappointed in how the match ended. The suplex. I'm at the rate like a 4.5.
Alright, Angelo?
Now I actually spoke with Andrew about this match before it came up, and me and Andrew were talking, and Andrew predicted that the Miz was going to win because of how personal it was with the Miz, and I know how Miz gets when he's pissed off. And this is one thing Eddie forgot to mention is when me and Andrew were watching the pay-per-view after the match ended, or when the match was about to end, Eddie was fuming mad because he was saying something about the Shane McMahon's arm was on the Miz's chest and saying how that didn't even count as a pin, you know. And I was like, I thought to myself, well, I've seen a pin like that before, you know, but I'm like thinking to myself, like, what if Eddie had a point? I mean, yeah, Miz dominated just about the whole match, you know. Well, not dominated the whole match, but he dominated, you know, a good portion of the match. And I thought that after he hit the skull-crushing finale, that it was going to be over. But when Shane kicked out, I was kind of shocked, actually. And then when I saw that suplex, I literally like, and even asked Andrew himself because he was there with me when he watched it, because he was at my house, and he could tell you I literally almost jumped out of my bed and I almost fell right off my bed, and I almost screamed so loud that I almost lost my voice. I was holding it in, but Andrew could even tell I wanted to do it, but I was holding it in. And then when I saw, and then when I noticed what Eddie was saying, how Shane pinned the Miz with his arm like that, I was like, it didn't really bother me because I've seen pins like that before. I've seen like when Triple H beat Kevin Nash for the World Championship. You know, he pinned him the exact same way. Only difference is he wasn't laying on his back; he was laying on his chest with his arm on Kevin Nash's on Kevin Nash's chest. You know, after the Hell in a Cell match. So I've seen pinfalls like that before, so it didn't really surprise me. So if I had to rate it, I'd say probably 5.5, because the match was a little bit short. And I also think because of... I also like the fact of when the Miz's dad came into the ring and tried to challenge Shane. I think that part was kind of funny. I was actually laughing my ass off about that. I was laughing my ass off about that. But like I said, what lowered it down for me was the fact that Shane kicked out of the Skull Crusher finale, and also B, because of the fact that the Miz beat the living shit out of the Miz's dad again, which that was another thing that really lowered it down for me. So I would say about 5.
Well, for me, you know, for this match, it was, I mean, I actually thought that The Miz was actually going to win this match, but I never expected them to actually go into the audience, especially that far, to the, you know, to the camera monitors and then the camera tower. I never expected that it was going to go all the way out there. that was like the turning point of the match where someone's got to get hurt and there's got to be a victory on that instead of a false count anywhere in a ring. You know, I usually hate that
You
so
see the
much.
Spanish announce table too.
Yeah. But
I know, right?
but it was a surprise seeing Miz and Shane on the TV tower, and then when Miz hit a suplex off there, and then when I saw the ref do the 3 count, I'm like, wait, what the hell's this? And I noticed I saw Shane on top of Miz during that suplex. It was a smart tactic, but I never thought it was gonna be like that, especially for a false count anywhere. But I've seen, you know, victories, well, mostly a different area, like from like outside the ring or anywhere, like something like that. I remember when Edge and John Cena, they had a last man standing match. Big Show threw Cena into a fucking spotlight. You know, that's how Edge won by a freaking because of Big Show winning the
I
world
remember
title.
that. I also remember when Shane won and Kane had a last man standing match in Unforgiven, and Kane won because Shane McMahon tried to jump off the thing, and then Kane moved out of the way. So I
Yep.
remember that one too.
But for me, for this match, no matter how extreme it did, come out to the TV, out to the crowd, and then the unexpected victory, I have to say about a 7. I have to say. Anyone else want to elaborate before we go on?
If you have anything to say, that match was gay.
Yeah.
No, I will say this though is the rivalry between Miz and Shane is not over. I know that. I know Miz would want to get his hands on Shane again, and but I'm saying is I don't think Shane should have won that match because what was the point of making Shane win the match? I mean, like, what was the
He's
point?
a
of it?
McMahon, that's why.
That may be true, but Miz has more of a reason to win that match than Shane did. You know?
True.
You know, I mean, like, I'm not saying, you know, like, tell WWE to change their mind, you know? No, I'm not going to do that. But I'm saying is Miz had more of a reason to win that match than Shane did, you know? So I'm like, so that was another thing that kind of got me was, you know, where Miz had more of a reason to win that match than Shane did because because Shane attacked the Miz's father, which you should never do that to any man, you know? So...
Alright, so
Yeah, pretty much.
so now we got that out of the way for this match. Let's go on to the next match. And this match right here, this is the match where it's like Divas match gotta pee or Divas match need a drink, like I did during the Royal Rumble. But this is the Fatal 4-Way tag team match, especially with the returning Hall of Famer coming out of retirement, Beth Phoenix, tag teaming with Natalya again for the Divas of Doom. So, Eddie, you want to go first on this one?
I would love to.
Alright.
Okay, now can I just say, like, it's been a long time since we've seen the Beth Phoenix return. Now, if you remember her record, she was 1-3 at WrestleMania.
Yep.
Now, when I was thinking she was teamed up with Natalya, I thought, you know, those are my candidates of being the women's tag team champions. 'Cause I was rooting for them all the way because I wanted to see how they would do. But then again, WWE said, "Fuck me," and yeah, they basically said, "Fuck everyone." They made Peyton Royce and Billie Kay the champions, and I'm like, "Ew," like what the fuck? I couldn't stand it. I don't like it. I just no. That in general, just the one thing I do like though, that Fury said a grand slam to the fucking I don't know what the top rope or the middle rope down to the canvas. But if it wasn't thanks to that tag, they wouldn't have won. Like the Iconics would have won. So if it wasn't for the tag, we would have had Natalya and Beth Phoenix. So since we had the tag, we had to deal with the most annoying pieces of shit in the freaking tag division. And yes, I have hatred for the Iconics, if you haven't noticed. So
Yes, we have.
my rating for this match would have to be a 6. All because of that freaking Grand Slam from...
Yep. Glam Slam, yep.
Yeah. Angelo?
Alright, I'll do this one. This match, I actually, like I said, this is me and Andrew were sitting down watching this match, and I actually enjoyed this match a little bit. It was kind of like back and forth. Everybody was like tagging each other out. Everybody was kind of like beating each other up. Et cetera, et cetera. The Glam Slam was what got it for me because it was like I used to watch Beth Phoenix, from like when she debuted in WWE till like, till she retired. Because I watched, I actually have a pay-per-view I watched on DVD, Unforgiven 2007, when Beth Phoenix was taking on Candice Michelle for the women's title, and that was a hell of a good ass match, though. I'm not gonna lie, but like when I saw that match, I was thinking, okay, Beth Phoenix and Natalya is gonna kick all their asses, because Beth Phoenix was known as the ass kicker of the women's division, and Natalya was, kind of like one of the milestone divas in the WWE. And when I saw the Iconics won it, I just was disgusted. I was disgusted. And Andrew asked me, had this look on his face, and he came up to me and he asked me like, did this really happen? And I gave him this look like you saw what just happened, right? And like I was thinking to myself like, are you fucking kidding me? Of all the people you had to make win was the Iconics? I mean, how stupid are you? I mean, like, seriously, like, what did the Iconics do to deserve that match? Well, you know what they did to this freaking, what? They just freaking fucked off somebody just to go and get him a shot at the title?
Probably.
I mean, like, I don't get it. Like I said with Eddie, and I agree with Eddie on this. If the Iconics did not tag Beth Phoenix while she was doing the Glam Slam from the top, Beth Phoenix and Natalya would have been champion. But in case you guys haven't noticed, I don't like the Iconics. But I will say this though, that Glam Slam, that was one of the most unforgettable shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay, and I agree with what Eddie said was, the Iconics should not have won that title with a freaking, even with a halo above their head, they still shouldn't have won that title. They could go fuck themselves. That's what I would have thought.
Okay. Andrew.
I'm sorry, but I would have to rate it about I would say about a 6. A 6.
Okay.
Maybe.
Andrew, would you like to elaborate from that?
Alright, first thing I gotta say is after what I say, my thoughts, I gotta get ready for work.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so my thoughts on this match was, I agree with Eddie and Angelo. It was kind of shit how the Iconics won. Cause how after Beth Phoenix did the Glam Slam, Iconics just pushed her out of the way and stole the win. So like some people usually steal a win. So I'm kind of pissed of how Iconics won. It could have been better if, it would have been a little bit better if another team won it, but I don't know why WWE picked Iconics to win this match. So I rated a 5.
Okay. For me, I mean, I was glad to see Beth Phoenix and then to come out of retirement, and then we see the Divas of Doom, returning this match. I've been watching Beth Phoenix for over 10 years, and seeing her coming out, especially hitting a Glam Slam off the top rope. But
Yeah.
And then we seen the Iconics steal the win, which was actually a shocking moment because I wasn't paying attention. But at the same time, the Iconics, they always like to sneak in the victory.
Yeah.
But I thought that Sasha Banks and Bayley were going to retain, but I never expected the Iconics out of nowhere. So I have to say about a 5.5 for this match with the Iconics. I mean, I still like the Iconics. I know they're annoying, but they're sexy, so I had to, agree with them on that one. Especially for Australians.
Sexy.
Okay, so now we got that out of the way. Moving on to the next match, which is the match everyone was all excited, the WWE Championship match between Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston.
Yes.
I can tell
I'll
you're
let Eddie
excited.
go first.
Alright, Eddie, go ahead.
Finally, after 11 long years, Kofi can say he is now the WWE champion. After 11 long years, he deserved it in his career, man. That match was back and forth. Once again, I'll say this again. I almost put a hole through my floor because I was jumping up and down. Okay.
That's a lot of
I remember
holes.
that.
Oh, shut up. And that match was 10 out of 10. My opinion was 10 out of 10.
Angelo?
I've been, like I said, I've been following Kofi Kingston's career since his debut in 2008, and or 2009, sorry. I've been following his career since he debuted, and in case you guys actually didn't know this, Kofi Kingston actually beat Brock Lesnar at a live event. That's actually true. But Kofi Kingston actually was one of those superstars where he's beaten some of the biggest names in history, but never felt like, that he would be ever WWE World Champion because of how he was, because of how his character was, stuff like that. But what I think started changing was after he beat Brock Lesnar at the live event. That's when I think it started changing slowly but surely. When it happened at WrestleMania, I was speechless. I was extremely happy. I actually heard Eddie almost slamming. I heard Eddie slamming his feet so goddamn hard on the floor that I actually thought it was gonna make holes on the ground. And I actually heard everything. And I knew, and Angelo was right next to me, and I knew Angelo was excited as hell about it. So, I would definitely rate that a 10 out of 10, definitely, in a heartbeat. Definitely 10 out of 10, definitely.
Well, from my point of view, to me, this is the biggest WrestleMania moment for anything. Just like Zack Ryder for his at WrestleMania 32, and then when Kofi Kingston, becoming a jobber to a highlight reel to now a world champion, was the biggest shocker and the biggest moment for WrestleMania for Kofi to win. When I first heard, he was gonna be the come the champion, I can't even speak anymore. I thought that he might want to come back as his Jamaican self to, his old self after 11 years to actually win the title. But he had the New Day. He was still his New Day character, which is okay, but I still miss the Jamaican style. I would like to see the Jamaican style return and to win the title. But congratulations to Kofi Kingston. We got no more Planet Champion. Finally got rid of the wooden fucking title. And he brought back the old title. So this match, I have to give a 9 out of 10 for Kofi Kingston.
9 out of 10?
Yeah, I have to say 9 out of 10.
How come not 10 out of 10?
I mean, a 10 out of 10 for me would be like nothing but like shocking all moves. I mean, it was shocking that he kicked out of the running knee, but if he would have done that like at the same thing, as the Elimination Chamber, then I would have called it a 10 out of 10. But I've said 9 out of 10, which is still close. His Elimination Chamber one was a 10 out of 10 for me, but like for this match, I had to say it was a 9 out of 10.
But like I said, I think what was starting to tell for me when he was starting to get to the stage of becoming WWE World Champion was when he defeated Brock Lesnar at the live event. That's what started telling for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so blabbering for that great WrestleMania moment after everyone was all tired. We have to go on to this match. Now, this match, I might have to say a little bit. The United States title match between Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio.
Oh my God.
Angelo?
Oh shit. Personally, like I said, there's another one of those situations where I've seen all these guys' careers. You know, like I said, I've seen Samoa Joe's career in TNA, and well, since he first debuted, I've seen Rey Mysterio when he first debuted. You know, like in ECW, WCW, etc. And personally, I thought that they were going to give Mysterio another WrestleMania moment like they did at WrestleMania 22 when he won the world title. Excuse me, sorry. Because I felt, you know, Rey Mysterio never won the U.S. title, so I felt, okay, I thought they were going to do the same thing like they did at WrestleMania 22. And plus, only that too, Rey Mysterio was kind of heading into the match with a injured ankle, so he couldn't do as much stuff as he usually could do. So he was kind of like at a disadvantage. But I know that's not going to stop Rey Mysterio. But I felt the match was really short. I felt like that match.
It was just a squash match.
Yeah, basically. I hate squash matches. Like, I hate matches where there's like nothing really interesting happening, you know? And like, I would say that was a 3 because the reason is because A, Samoa Joe retained. I wanted Rey Mysterio to be a Grand Slam champion. B, it ended way too quickly. And 3 was, you know, Rey Mysterio was injured. So those were the 3 main killers for me for my decision. So I would say a 3.
Okay, Eddie?
This match was disappointing. And by disappointed, I mean, like, so disappointing you don't even want to go back to it and watch it again. Now, it was too short. It was like, what, under a minute? 55
2
seconds?
minutes.
Oh, something like that? But yeah, I did not like the way how it began, middle, or ended. Now, see, the only reason why they did that is because Ray had, if you didn't know on Raw, he had an ankle injury.
Against Baron Corbin.
Yeah. That's probably why they did it short, in my opinion, because he was still injured a bit. And they didn't want an injured champion or whatever. But still, I wanted Ray to win regardless, no matter what. And for Samoa Joe to regain and keep the title like that short, I have to go 2 out of 10. It was just nothing interesting in that match.
So this is like the lowest that you rate for any of the other matches.
Basically, yes.
Well, from my point of view, right here, this match was a disappointment. I mean, I was glad to see Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio at a match at WrestleMania. But when I heard Rey Mysterio got an ankle injury, I thought this match was going to be canceled. But they went on with it. But, of course, it was a squash match from the beginning. And then we seeing, you know, Rey Mysterio with his ankle injury. And then this short match with the quickest, like, cocaine and clutch ever. And then Samoa... I mean, I'm glad Samoa Joe win, but I just wish the match was, like, a little bit better. Then we could have, you know, gotten a good victory. I mean, it would have been great to see Rey Mysterio finally become a Grand Slam champion for over 20 years.
Yeah.
But I have to say, it has to be a 4 for me for this match. So elaborating out after all that, we had the next match, which was, to me, the match I was going to be watching at the same time didn't give a shit, was the returning Roman Reigns versus the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre, or in this case, if you watch Grimm, Drew Mac and Cheese.
Mac and cheese. Oh, that feels good enough.
Drew Mac and Cheese.
Actually, I'm actually going to talk about this match first. So, when I heard Roman Reigns was returning in the ring, I was actually, you know, at the same time I was happy, but at the same time I was very pissed. Because for a man who has leukemia, coming out for 5 months thinking he's healed, and especially making a movie with The Rock, you know, and a brand new spin-off movie, but coming back to the ring, think he can wrestle, especially coming back for a WrestleMania moment, and choosing Drew McIntyre. I wanted McIntyre to win this match so Roman Reigns could go heel. But no, because of Vince McMahon thinking that Roman Reigns is still the big dog and how this is his yard, that he should, deserve everything. I don't know what Roman Reigns' career is, but he needs to get out and go recover from leukemia. He needs to be fully clear, because if he has an accident in the ring, it's all on Vince. There's been multiple times where we had accidents in the ring. But for this match, it was a back and forth, and then until Roman Reigns comes out again, and then everyone started booing him because this is exactly what was going to happen. But for this match, I have to give it a 5.
Alright, I'll go next. Brother Adam made a lot. Now, before I get to my point, I want to say something. Brother Adam made a really, really good point, because in 3 straight WrestleManias, Roman Reigns had straight victories. Like, he shouldn't even have won. And it was like, a lot of it just didn't make sense. And when I found out Reigns was coming back at 35, I was just like thinking to myself, like, what is WWE doing? Like this man just had freaking leukemia. Okay, this guy is supposed to be out for like several months to a year. Supposed to be in remission, recovering. Plus, he got back from, doing the Hobbs movie that he was doing with The Rock. And then he comes back in the ring, and then all of a sudden, Vince McMahon, makes him his boy again. Like everybody in the fan, every fan was calling Roman Reigns Vince's boy. Because that's basically what he is. He's Vince's boy, and like everything is just handed to Reigns. And when I saw this match, I was like, I hate Drew McIntyre, but this is the one exception I was gonna take. I wanted Drew McIntyre to win that match. That was the one exception, and the reason why was because I kind of wanted to have them teach Roman a lesson in a way, where they're saying how, like, no matter if you're the big dog or if you're Vince's boy, you could still be put down, and like, you could still be beatable, and to be honest, when I found out that Reigns won the match, I was actually pretty upset. I was actually pretty I was pretty fuming after that. I would say about what you said, Adam. I would say about a 5. What really killed it for me, like I said, was when McIntyre hit him with the
Claymore
sorry,
kick.
I had to clear my throat. Sorry. When McIntyre hit him with the Claymore kick, it should have ended right there. That match should have ended right there, But of course, they had to make Roman Reigns kick out because, like I said, he was Vince's boy, and they had to give him a spear and beat McIntyre. So, I'm happy about the fact that, Roman Reigns is back in the WWE. I'm happy about that, but I think they did it way too soon. So, that's why I say a 5.
Okay, Eddie?
Well, to be honest, and when someone comes out of leukemia after 5 months, it's going to take longer than 5 months to get out of leukemia, because I know it because my mom had it for 2 years and she's still fighting the same battle. And the point of this is that if something happens in the ring, if he dies or something, that's on Vince. That's not on us. It's not on the universe. It's on Vince. Because Vince thought it was a good idea for him to be back and compete and wrestle and be like, hey, I can do this, I can do that. You can't do anything if you're under leukemia. It's nice that he's back in the ring and all, but to me, it's just a bit too soon. And honestly, I was rooting for Drew McIntyre in that match. And the only reason being is because, like you said, that way he could either A, turn heel, or B, that way we can forget about it and say that Drew McIntyre has defeated the Shield members, all in single order.
Yeah, and Dean Ambrose is leaving, so...
Yeah, but this match, I'm going to have to go halfway with a 5 or a 5.5.
So exactly, like the same exact thing that we just said.
Yeah, so it's definitely just a halfway no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how much how much stuff you did in that match, it still would stay a 5 because, like I said, it was Reigns came back way too early. There's no way nobody can recover from leukemia in 5 months, even if you're in remission or not. Okay,
Hmm.
no cancer just heals in 5 months. I trust me, I know both of my fathers, both my actual biological father and my stepfather, you know, they my actual biological father died of throat cancer, so he didn't heal, within 5 months. He passed away because of that shit. You know what I mean? And a lot of the bad things that's been happening in WWE is because of Vince. So, like, I don't care what anybody else says. Vince is the reason why a lot of the bad stuff that's been happening has happened. Like with Charlotte, when Charlotte won SmackDown title, it was Vince's idea to put it on her. So I'm saying if Vince was the one who decided to bring Reigns back, that would be his fault for the reason why everything went down the way it did, and he can't blame any of us. So I basically agree with all of what you guys are saying, you know. So I'll just leave it at this: Roman Reigns, just go home and recover. That's all I'll say.
Alright. Well, we get to say for all that, so now we get all that out of our system for Roman Reigns. Now we gotta move on to the next match right here. And this match, it was longer than I expected. The no-holds-bar match between Triple H and the returning Dave Bautista. So...
I will do this one.
Okay.
Now, growing up, when I was younger, this is actually my favorite rivalry. I actually never told you guys this. This was actually my favorite rivalry growing up, was the Batista and Triple H rivalry. That was my all-time favorite rivalry of all time. And the reason why was because they just had some brutal as hell matches together. Like, they were inside Hell in a Cell. They had 2 regular matches against each other. It was just chaos everywhere every time when they faced in the ring with each other. Those matches always ended up being good between Batista and Triple H. And they always were like 5-star matches. And like, I had a feeling that this match was going to be a 5-star match as well, because like I said, they've had so many 5-star matches before. And to be honest, I was quite happy that Triple H actually beat Batista, because Triple H, if you guys haven't noticed, Batista never beat Triple H 3 straight times. Triple H never beat Batista. So when Triple H beat Batista, not only did that blemish fall off Triple H's record, but it also kind of helped make Triple H's career even better. So I didn't like the storyline. I didn't like how the match came up, like where it attacked Ric Flair and stuff. I didn't like that part. I think there was like another way they could have done that, but I mean, the match was chaos. It was like sledgehammers, there was chairs, there were steel steps. They they beat the shit out of each other. If I had to rate that match, I would say probably a 7. The reason why I say it's a 7, the only reason why I should say it was higher was because I think the match could have gone on a little bit longer, and it could have been more chaotic, like the last 3 matches that they had were. Like when they were, like the last 3 matches they had, they were like all over the place. It was all blood. It was like all gory. It was all that kind of stuff. It was kind of like, when they had those 3 matches in the past, those matches were like 5-star matches. Like they were just like back and forth and back and forth. It was the same thing, at WrestleMania, but it wasn't as badass as the other 3 matches that they had. So that's why I say that's a 7.
I'm going to go on this one. I mean, this match, it did improve pretty good. Other than that, we see Botchtista when he fell in the ring the first time.
I remember that.
He
He
just
was making his.
I remember that too. That was funny.
he like slipped
Yeah,
in the
I saw
ring.
that too.
People called it Botchtista, so and then he just went back out.
Batista.
And then he went back outside the ring and redid his entrance again.
Yeah.
Like this match was actually, I mean, I thought this match was gonna be slow because how old they are getting, but it did actually
Yeah.
turn out great. Especially there's some extreme moments where Triple H pulled out a toolbox and he pulled out freaking tweezer pliers and just pull out his fucking nose ring.
Oh my God, yes, I remember that.
That one actually got me cringe. I mean, it
I
wasn't.
cringed too.
It wasn't really much of a cringe moment like when Randy Orton put a screwdriver through fucking Jeff Hardy's ears. That
Oh,
one made
God,
me
yes, I
cringe
remember.
the most.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's true.
But like the
That
nose
made me
ring,
cringe too.
but the nose ring part did make me cringe. And then they did pretty good with the no holds barred. You know, it wasn't
Yeah.
as bad. And I thought, but Batista did have some slips because he hasn't been in the ring for years. Because he's still in Hollywood making movies. Because he's gonna go back and go make Guardians of the Galaxy 3 pretty soon.
Yeah.
So, with this match being said, I actually would give it a 7.5 because how they actually did pretty good in this match. I wish it could have been better, but that cringing part took it like give me a higher rank, so I had to put a 7.5 for this one.
That cringe.
All right, Eddie.
I want to say for a fact that this match was so extreme. I was like, holy shit. The whole
Holy
entire
shit.
fucking
Holy
time.
shit. Holy
The
shit.
nose ring getting pulled off. Oh my God, that was freaking cringe. But not as cringe as the screwdriver in the ear. That was freaking.
I know, right? I know,
Like
right?
that.
I know.
The toolbox. Oh my God, chain and everything, and then people getting put through the table and out table. A sledgehammer,
Yeah.
I'm back.
pedigree on the steps and shit
Hey,
like
Andrew.
that. Oh my God, that shit was intense. Best match, pretty much, out of the whole rivalry they had. If I had to rate it, I had to go 8. 8 out of 10.
So we're talking about Batista's and Triple H's no holds bar match. Andrew wants like to talk. How long do we have before you have to go to work?
It's been
Let's-
like 20 minutes.
Let's try to make this fast as we can. So what do you say about Triple H and Batista?
It was really like it was a pretty good match. Like it took to the extreme of what I heard Eddie was about saying, but like sledgehammers and steel gate or not steel steel steps, and how Triple H kind of friggin' the tools and everything else. How Triple H like took his was the nose ring off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took it like how Randy Orton like took Jeff Hardy's earlobe to try to take it off.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Like Triple H took it to an extreme this time.
And he
Oh, yeah.
improved better than the Crown Jewel
Yeah.
match.
It definitely. So I give it an 8.
So now we got that out of the way. Now going to this next match. This match right here, I have a lot to say, and especially going on. We had this retirement match for Kurt Angle, and he chooses Baron Foreskin out of nowhere. So let me just start this one off first. At first,
Okay.
when Kurt Angle said he was making his retirement match at WrestleMania, I was like, okay, it's going to be his final match. I wanted to see it. But when he chose Baron Foreskin, I'm like, okay, this is not going to be good. Especially Kurt Angle fell right on his fucking face, trying to hit a fucking moonsault. And then when Baron Corbin hit an end of days, and it was just the end of the match, especially it was kind of quick, because I know they were trying to get to the end of the show pretty cool for the main event. But for this match, I wanted to see either Undertaker or John Cena get rid of Kurt Angle or for a retirement match. But for me, I have to say this had to be a 6. Who wants to go next?
I'll do this
Okay.
one.
All right.
I actually hated this match. I actually despised this match, and the reason is because, like I said, Kurt Angle is another one of those superstars I've been watching, since he debuted, and I felt he shouldn't have gone on that way. I think what they should have done was, give him a better opponent, like one of my heroes, The Undertaker, or, John Cena, or, somebody like that,
Dr. Thugonomics.
Yeah, exactly. Or something like that. We'll get to the Dr. Thugonomics later. That part came up later. We'll get to that later. But what the Kurt Angle situation was, I was actually sickened by that match. Like, that match made me sick. Like, I was, after that match, I just said, I don't want to see Baron Corbin anymore. Like, I literally almost shut the TV off, and I said, yeah, no, I'm done. But, I was so mad after that, but at least Kurt Angle gave him a good fight. Kurt Angle was dominating, but I wasn't happy about the match. So I would have to rate it about, I would say maybe a 4, just because of the fact that Kurt Angle lost in his final match. I felt like somebody better, like I said, like one of my heroes, The Undertaker, or John Cena, or, even The Rock, or somebody like that would be an even better opponent to take on Kurt Angle in his retirement match, so that way he had a challenge, and that way he could have gone off strong. But Corbin, he could just go, I can't stand Corbin. And as you say, Baron Foreskin, so Baron Foreskin and Kurt Angle, I'm going to give that a 4.
Alright, Andrew, would you like to elaborate on this one?
I kind of agree to Angel a little bit, but except that, like, I respected Kurt Angle's choice of why he picked Baron Corbin. Well, for one, he chose Baron Corbin because he was in rivalry with him, because he'd been general manager, and Baron Corbin was, like, on his skin and all that, and they're both, like, on a rivalry. So, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why Kurt Angle picked him.
But they already had a match before.
And Kurt Angle beat him.
Mm-hmm.
And Corbin and Foreskin beat him too, because of McIntyre and Lashley. So they wanted.
Did you ever consider thinking this is like a tiebreaker match, though?
I don't know.
Because it was a tie 1-1 at the time.
Yeah, that is true.
That is true.
Continue, Andrew.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I actually I wanted the Kurt Angle to win his final match. So that kind of wasn't, I mean, if they did a really good job, they could have Baron Corbin win, like, a match back when they faced each other, and then have Kurt Angle win this match. But I didn't have it that way, so I mean, it was a pretty good match. So I give it a 7.
Eddie.
Yeah.
Okay, this, like I said earlier, this is a tiebreaker between those two. But I honestly would have wished he would have chose one of these two. A, John Cena of Dr. Thugonomics, because if you haven't noticed, when John Cena debuted, he answered Kurt Angle's call on SmackDown in either 2002 or 2003. Mm-hmm. Or The Undertaker was because they had legendary matches. And if Undertaker would have retired the Kurt Angle like that, I almost said the Kurt Angle for some damn reason. But if you were to retire Kurt Angle like that and won, I wouldn't have been too mad with that either, because I would have gone with either man in that match. But for this Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle, I was hoping Kurt Angle would win that match, because I don't like Baron Corbin. I only like his theme. That's it. But if I had to go with this match, I have to go with either a 6 or a 6.5, just because the match didn't go as. If Kurt Angle didn't hit that moonsault, he would have won. Yeah. So that's kind of his fault for hitting the moonsault. I'm sorry, Kurt. I love you, but if you hear that, it's kind of your fault why you do it.
Alright, so we're almost done with this here. So we're going to elaborate next to the next match. And Eddie, I want you to go first for this match. The returning Demon King challenging the Intercontinental Champion Bobby Lashley And so I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
Thank you.
Wait.
Thank you.
Wait, Adam, did you put your thoughts on the other match?
What other match?
The Kurt Angle one?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I was the first one to say it.
Oh.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Eddie, go ahead and get her on this one.
Yes. Thank you, WWE, for bringing back the Demon. If you haven't brought back the Demon, he would have not won at WrestleMania 35. Now, this match, the Demon's entrance was perfect. It was at nighttime. He kind of destroyed it. It was a little bit back and forth, but we all know the Demon was going to win regardless. But just because he's my favorite superstar and all that whatnot, that match was a 10 out of 10. I loved everything. I loved the moveset. I even loved the face paint attire, everything. Finn, you're amazing. Love you, bro. Peace.
Alright, so Angelo, would you like to on this one?
Yeah, I'll do this one. I agree with what Eddie said. Basically, like that match automatically belonged to the Demon as soon as the match started. Like, as soon as even as soon as they said that that Demon Finn Balor, was participating in the match, I already knew that the Demon Finn Balor was gonna win the match. And like I said, the Demon Finn Balor mainly, like I said, decimated Bobby Lashley mainly. Like he decimated him. Like I've never seen anybody kick Bobby Lashley's ass like the freaking Demon Finn Balor did. And it was back and forth, but I knew the Demon was going to win that match. I knew it. So I would definitely agree with Eddie. I would say 10 out of 10. I do feel it could have been a little bit longer, but I felt it was for like with the entrances and with the actual like craziness of the match, it was all good. So I would say 10 out of 10. I agree completely with Brother Eddie. I could agree completely.
All right, Andrew.
I'm going to agree with Eddie and Angelo. That match was pretty good. Like, Finn Balor Demon wasn't dominating Bobby Lashley, but because Bobby Lashley was fighting back, but I knew the Demon was gonna win. And the shocking moment I saw was Finn Balor doing the powerbomb to Bobby Lashley. That was like, oh my god,
Yeah, I
you
forgot all about that.
So did I.
Yeah.
So yeah, I give it a 10 out of 10 also.
So what I have to say is, I don't know if anyone else knows, but did you know Bobby Lashley was wearing contacts to change his colors?
Yes,
his
I did.
Yeah, I
eyes?
knew that.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It was like a greenish kind of color because he's facing like a demon, so he tries to bring out his demon by changing his colors. But with Finn Balor's entrance was amazing too, just coming out of the sky too for the demon. I mean, the impressive he powerbombed Bobby Lashley into a coup de grace. This match was actually pretty good for back and forth, even though it was like 5 minutes. It still was actually a pretty good, decent match for back and forth. But I have to say a 9 out of 10 because if this would have maybe like went on for maybe 10 minutes, I would have said 10 out of 10 because we could have had like a lot more good moves between Bobby Lashley and Finn Balor. But because it was 5 minutes, I had to say 9 out of 10. But I still, liked how the Demon won for this match, especially for the returning Finn Balor.
Agreed.
Actually, I don't think Finn Balor came out of the sky. I think it was like an illusion or something. They made it look like the Demon was coming from the sky. Because you look at like when he went down, it didn't even look like it was in the sky.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so
That man looks so good.
so now we elaborate through all this. We have to go on to our final match. History in the making between the very first ever women's main event match. But
I like to go first on this.
Okay, but first we have the winner takes all, and this is the first time we get a women's main event at WrestleMania after 35 years. So Eddie, I'll let you go first on this one because you requested, so go ahead.
Okay, now this match was kind of a botch at the end, and I'll explain to that a little bit later. Now, this match was pretty good. I didn't understand why it was Charlotte to win the SmackDown Women's title to begin with. Now, I believe they also did it because they wanted to be the first ever SmackDown Live and Raw Women's Champion. I think that's why they added that stipulation. And I believe that's why Charlotte won against Asuka. I have no idea why. The match was going good. It was going great until this happened. A slide pin when Ronda's shoulders were up on 2, and the ref kept on counting 3. That's why it was a botch. Did anyone else notice that?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, that was basically a huge botch there. If the botch didn't continue, Becky would have won anyway. I was rooting for her regardless, so if she won anyway, like I said, but she was supposed to be winning with the disarm her, not with the freaking love up pin.
Yep.
But the main event, I would have to go an 8 out of 10, just because it was a botch.
Alright, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Eddie. Like, that was like a, that was like I was like when I was watching, Big Lynn's pinner, I was like, wait, what? How's the referee pinning? Like, I didn't get that. But I mean, I wasn't mad that she won. It was just like the way she won. Like wait, what? But yeah, I agree with Eddie. Like, I think it was an 8 out of 10.
Alright, Angelo?
Like, boy, but Eddie said, like, I don't think Charlotte should have been in that match.
Mm-hmm.
Like what Andrew said was, I didn't actually catch on to that at first when the match was about to end. I didn't actually catch on to that. Actually, Andrew like pulled me aside and he told me like, you do know Ronda's shoulder was up. I was like, what? I had to look at that again, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't even realize that at first. I didn't even notice, and until Andrew told me, and I was happy that Becky Lynch won. But now that realizing that Ronda's shoulder was up, that was kind of the part that made me a bit hesitant. But I was happy that Becky Lynch won, so I would also say 8 out of 10, definitely.
So what I have to say for this match, the biggest, first ever women's main event WrestleMania. The entrances are pretty cool, especially seeing Joan Jett and the Blackhearts performing Bad Reputation. And then we have Charlotte coming up from a helicopter and Becky just having her old smoke entrance again. But this was a botch fest too at the same time. It's still pretty good, but it's still botched. Because the original ending was, after Piper's Pit, a backslide, and then she kicks out, and Becky turns into a disarmer, and then Ronda taps out through that. But because of that, roll up, from after the Piper's Pit, Ronda's right shoulder was up, just like the biggest botch ending for any WrestleMania, especially through this first time. But for me, I always was going for Becky for the man to win both the Raw Women's title. Thank God that Charlotte doesn't have that title anymore, especially Ronda. Ronda, the biggest hyped rookie, coming to the WWE, winning the title, and then now losing at WrestleMania. Now for Becky to shine like a star. This match was a 7.5 for me, but because of the botches in it, especially that table didn't break the first time when Charlotte goes through.
I know, right? Now before we end this, there's one more moment I want to bring up, and I also want to get all your guys' reaction on this too. Was when Elias was doing his big performance, and then the Doctor Thugonomics comes out, and then it's just like, you can't forget this, you can't forget that moment, like. I have to do Eddie first, because I know Eddie and I are the two biggest Dr. Thugonomics people around here. So me and Eddie will do ours first, and then Andrew will go, and then Adam will go. So Eddie, you go first. What did you think of it?
I thought it was amazing, perfect, and everything was right about it. That was funny how John Cena interrupted Elias for the second straight WrestleMania in a row, but this time using his old Dr. Thugonomics. His rhymes were good, his roasts were amazing. This was a 10 out of 10. I was like, what?
You even heard me, I'm screaming, what? I remember that, yes.
Yeah, but what about you?
I remember me and Andrew were sitting down on the TV, and we were watching that, and Elias was doing his performance, and then I saw like on the bottom of the screen something was happening to the screen, right? And then the whole freaking LED screen went to where it said Thugonomics, and I was like, and I said to myself like, what the fuck? Did John Cena just come back as the Dr. Thugonomics? And then you and I, Eddie, were like all like yelling at Andrew, saying like how we told you so, and then we were like. Yeah, I know you did too, and because we told Andrew that he was going to come back as the Dr. Thugonomics, and we ended up telling Andrew we told you so, and now Andrew owes us dinner because of that, and but no, he owes us dinner for that, and that was your idea, not mine, but no, what I was saying was when I saw the Thugonomics return, I felt like I was a kid again. Like when I first watched WWE, John Cena was known as the Thugonomics, so that was kind of like a childhood moment for me, you know. So that was like something I was never gonna forget. And I literally did not say, dude, actually did not say anything. I almost bawled out crying my eyes out because that was like one of my all-time favorite moments of WrestleMania. Like that is a moment I will never forget in my entire life. I love that moment so much. Like you can't talk about WrestleMania without talking about that moment. You just can't do it. You know, that's how big and how special that moment was to me and Eddie. You know, that moment just, you know, it was just no words. I was shocked. I was speechless. You know, I even told Andrew I almost strangled him, and I told him, "We told you so. We told you so." And Eddie said to him, and Andrew was, because like I said, Andrew was at my house when we were watching WrestleMania, and Eddie even said to him, "You owe us dinner." He was talking about me and him. Eddie was talking about me and him, and he was saying to Andrew that you owe him and me dinner, and Eddie and Andrew was like, "Okay, you got it." So we're gonna keep it to that, Andrew. But no, that was my favorite moment of WrestleMania, if not really, really high up there. So I would definitely call that 10 out of 10. Good timing, you know, amazing roasts from Cena. I even like when he brought back the FU and the STFU and you know stuff like that. And Eddie almost literally bawled out crying as well because of it. Because like I said, he and I love the Dr. Thugonomics, John Cena. So like I said, you know, those are moments that me and Eddie have never forgotten. So that's definitely a 10 out of 10 in my book, and I know it's 10 out of 10 in Eddie's book too. So your turn, Andrew.
Okay, so what Angelo didn't mention is that I was actually excited about that.
I already knew you were excited.
Then you were just saying you wanted to stream with me because you were right.
I did, because you said all those years that he would never come back. Because you said he was never going to come back.
I was shocked. I was also excited that he came back. But yeah, that was like the best moment. I was like, oh my god, the Thugonomics is back.
And then you still owe me and Eddie dinner. We're going to keep you to that.
Yes, I know that.
If you don't, I'm sticking your ass in the dinosaur era.
I give that moment a 10 out of 10.
What about you, Adam?
Well, I mean, I was glad to see the Dr. Thugonomics return, especially for interrupting Elias, you know, for Elias's concert. You know, yeah. I mean, I thought John Cena was not going to make it because it was making his movie. But the one downer is John Cena's fucking hair. I'm sorry, but it's that fucking hair. I cannot stand John Cena, that fucking hair. Like, that, I mean, yes, he returns to Dr. Thugonomics, but his fucking hair does not match the fucking Thugonomics.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. But I have to give that a 9.
That's what made it even more surprising, though.
Yeah, but I give it as a 9, but it was fucking hair for running.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
So anyway, before I end the stream, what would you guys rate this year's WrestleMania?
Huh. You told me to.
I would rate it at an 8 out of 10.
Alright, Angelo?
I would say 9 out of 10 just because of the Thugonomics.
Andrew?
No, we're doing our review.
I'll say
for
10 out of 10 is the best
stuff.
WrestleMania, I think.
I say 9 out of 10 because this is great WrestleMania in a while. You know, this WrestleMania was actually improved a lot better because last year's NXT Takeover New Orleans was a lot better than WrestleMania 34. But this WrestleMania did outbeat NXT Takeover New York. Even though both events were still great, I still have to say WrestleMania.
What exactly did you tell him?
Are you done, Angelo? We need to say goodbye.
Angelo, you ain't one job.
I'm just telling you, John said the same thing, and I almost kicked his ass.
I know that was in the beginning. I know.
Can you please mute your mic for private conversation?
His ass is mine. And
Can you please mute your mic?
I have permission.
I don't think he knows how.
Okay, anyway, we're gonna talk over Angelo. So this is the Brotherhood channel, and for our first podcast, we actually did pretty good for a good podcast. So I would have to say, you know, I'm glad to host this first podcast, and pretty soon we'll pick another host for the next podcast for whatever pay-per-view, whenever I have the time off, you know. I'll probably do like another thing. So, would you guys like to say your goodbyes?
Well, guys, this is also known as Element Hero Fan 98 signing out. Thank you for watching the podcast, and this is the Brotherhood channel. Expect more of these soon.
Andrew?
That's why I asked if I can get more PS4
I
games.
guess.
You know, so that way, if in case I have
see you later in the next pay-per-view, or where we do this podcast.
That's why
this is Brother Andrew saying out.
Angelo?
And an extra controller.
So apparently Angelo's not gonna say goodbye. So anyway, this is Alright, so this is A-Rod Gamer and Brother Adam for this case, and we'll see you guys in the next podcast.
Is that alright?
Well, since we'll say Angelo says goodbye. So anyway, guys, subscribe to all of our channels. We'll leave the link in the description below.
About that guy.
Okay, so you want to say your goodbye before we? Okay.
Oh, he left.
He left the party. So anyway, thank you guys for watching the podcast. I know it's a little long, but we'll see you guys in the next one.